Chapter 818. That night, after Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi returned home, they showed her the complete video of what Sheng Bowen had experienced in the early morning. Mu Qiqi had always seen corpses talk. She had never seen someone commit a crime so directly. It was like watching a crime movie, thrilling and exciting. You should have let me see it last night. I missed this good show for nothing. Mu Qiqi leaned into Sheng Xiao's arms and complained. And during the day, you didn't tell me that you went to the police station. I just wanted to see Xin Yu's expression. Got it. Don't move around. Sheng Xiao pressed her body against his chest when she was moving. Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to take off his shirt and touch his bronze chest. She did not hold back at all. Then can you tell me what Su Che was sent to do now? Sheng Xiao's eyes were half closed, and his clothes were messy. His posture looked extremely lazy, making one unable to help but feel desire. It was obvious that this man was already teased by this little thing. Sheng Xiao did not move, and allowed the little thing to tease him. Mu Qiqi was not much better. Her clothes were wide open, and she looked extremely flirtatious. Are you going to tell me or not? Sheng Xiao took the opportunity to lift Mu Qiqi's chin and kiss her fiercely. This little thing would always find trouble with him. He was the dignified CEO of Enchanting, yet he had to call all over the world just to find a woman. Where was his dignity? Mu Qiqi's lips and tongue were bitten. She was filled with unwillingness, and bit back without admitting defeat. Sheng Xiao pressed her down on the chaise lounge, and bit her nose as he warned. If you make me look for you everywhere in the future, don't even think about keeping your butt. I'm asking you where Su Che is. He went to J City, Sheng Xiao said truthfully. He changed his posture, and let the little thing rest on his arm. Investigating by Cindy's case? You told me not to care about it, but you still went to investigate it yourself? Previously, it was to help third brother, but Xin Yu appeared and gave third brother some buffer time. I wanted to find clues about that person from Xin Yu, but Xin Yu and Sheng Kai's status are about the same, so there's no room for me to use. So we still found a breakthrough in Bai Sini's case. Mu Qiqi understood. Did Su Che find anything? Also, is Su Che safe? No news yet. I gave him a week's time. When the time is up, retreat immediately. Finally knowing Sheng Xiao's secret, Mu Qiqi immediately flipped over and rode on him. That's right. Even if I know, I won't do anything. Why do you have to hide it? I'm the person closest to you. What can't I know? It's not as simple as you think. Xin Yu won't last 3 days in prison. The lust in Sheng Xiao's eyes faded, and there was a hint of warning in them. He thought that he was hiding the final secret, and could threaten the other party. But the other party would not give him the chance to speak at all. He only dragged me down with him. The truth will eventually come to light. Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao's neck a little tighter, because she heard him say that he was dragged into the water. Don't worry. Even if Xin Yu didn't drag me, I'm still in the water. The Shen family and the Sheng family are both in the water. Mu Qiqi nodded and suddenly let go of her hands. Sheng Xiao thought that she was tired and wanted to let her take a shower, but unexpectedly, she took a few steps back and suddenly lowered her head to unbutton Sheng Xiao's pants. Sheng Xiao felt his mind buzz and suddenly explode. He had told her before that there was no need to do this. He did not need her to do this. However, Mu Qiqi was not affected by him at all. She looked up and saw the man's face flushed. It was a scene she had never seen before, and she suddenly smiled. Your entire body is mine. Why can't I touch any part of you? I want to dote on you too. Where did you learn that? Sheng Xiao gritted his teeth. He could not stand such an exciting scene. He just wanted to grab her onto the bed and teach her a lesson for the entire night. Of course, I'll learn it on my own when facing the person I love. Mu Qiqi was afraid that he would resist, so she became even more emotional. In fact, she had already convinced Sheng Xiao. Which man could reject the woman he loved and risk her life for him? That kind of pride instantly filled his chest, and no one would be able to refuse it. Mu Qiqi never felt that there was anything to avoid. She also had things she wanted to do for her man. Seeing the man lose control, she was also proud, as if she had unlocked something amazing. It turned out that this man was not always so domineering in bed. It's blistered. After it was done, Mu Qiqi sat on the bed and moved her cheeks. Sheng Xiao directly hooked his arms around her neck and kissed her deeply. Little one, you're killing me. After saying that, Sheng Xiao carried Mu Qiqi and got up. He threw her onto the bed and pressed his long body on top of her. Don't even think about getting out of bed tonight. She did not intend to get out of bed anyway. This man. Of course, what happened next was naturally a charming night of endless spring. The next morning, Feng Shanshan called early in the morning and asked Mu Qiqi, "Where did you go last night? Your big CEO has already called Tang Yan's phone." "I went back to my parents' house." Mu Qiqi propped herself up from the bed and answered, "You're really capable, but don't be too pretentious. Screw you. I know what I'm doing." Mu Qiqi scratched her hair and said, "Take good care of my godson. I'll come over to see you tonight." "Okay, I'll wait for you." Feng Shanshan was concerned. Mu Qiqi got up, but the soreness in her legs reminded her how crazy the man last night was. Most importantly, he was still missing early in the morning. Mu Qiqi went to the bathroom sadly and saw the marks all over her body. The weather was getting hotter. If she continued to be so crazy, she might not be able to hide it in the future. However, it was rare to see that man lose control. It was worth it. Sheng Xiao was still downstairs, listening to Mama Sheng's nagging. "You're a man. Don't make Xiaoqi angry anymore. This place is only a few steps away from the Shen family. Let's see what you'll say when old Master Shen comes looking for you in the future." Sheng Xiao did not say anything. He read the newspaper and looked as calm as usual. "Mommy, don't blame him. I was the one who lost my temper." Mu Qiqi came down from upstairs and sat beside Sheng Xiao. I should have told you before I went out. I made you and Dad worry." "I don't care. Eighth brother. If Xiaoqi gets angry again in the future, you'll have to move out." Sheng Xiao turned to look at Mu Qiqi. His meaning was self-evident. "You're the Sheng family's biological child now." Mu Qiqi could not help but giggle. On the other side, Sheng Kai and Cheng Bin had already arrived at the entrance of the police station. "Lord Jin said that you're his godson, so you should visit Shen Yu on his behalf. These cigarettes and American wine are what Shen Yu likes. Lord Jin asked me to prepare some. Bring them in for him." Cheng Bin handed the things to Sheng Kai. Chapter 819. Sheng Kai requested to see Shen Yu, but he was not related to him, nor was he Shen Yu's guardian. The police did not allow it at all. Shen Yu has no relatives in this world. I'm the only friend he knows. If you don't let me see him, that's fine. This is a gift I prepared for him. After you check it, bring it to him for me, okay? These are all illegal items. You can't bring them in. The police stopped him. But I'll tell him that you were here. Sheng Kai had no choice but to return the way he came. Cheng Bin saw that he did not give him anything, so he asked, "What's going on?" "Those who aren't relatives don't have the right to see them. Moreover, the police station doesn't pass on these, saying it's against the rules." Cheng Bin frowned and did not say anything. After a while he said to Sheng Kai, "Then let's go back. We've done our best." Shen Yu learned from the police that Sheng Kai had been there. He squatted on the ground and sneered. This person could not do anything right, but he was good at spoiling things. He must have been used by Jinbo again. However, he could not be the lethal blade that Jinbo wanted. Thinking of this, Shen Yu laughed loudly. Useless people were useless no matter what they did. However, before he could be complacent enough, he felt dizzy and his limbs were weak. Not long after, he fell to the ground, his body twitching. Everything was as Sheng Xiao had expected. Shen Yu could not survive more than 3 days in prison. Shen Yu was dead. Hearing this news, Sheng Kai felt a chill rush from the soles of his feet to the top of his head and into his brain. Jinbo did not let Shen Yu live. The fact that he didn't send the things in should have nothing to do with him, right? Sheng Kai's hands couldn't help but tremble. He called Cheng Bin. After Cheng Bin received the news, he was much calmer than Sheng Kai. Shen Yu had betrayed Jinbo, so his ending would definitely not be good. This was the rule, so there was nothing to say. However, this was a human life. Sheng Kai had never felt it so directly. A person had died just like that. Therefore, he couldn't calm down for a long time. When Cheng Bin saw this, he patted him on the shoulder. "CEO Sheng, don't think too much. We don't even know how Shen Yu died. It has nothing to do with you. I only want power. I don't want to taint human lives. But in this world, where can I find such a good thing? However, Shen Yu has nothing to do with you. You didn't kill him, nor did he die because of you. What are you afraid of? Changbin comforted Sheng Kai. All right, Mr. Jin wouldn't do this to his godson. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given Changrong to you. Don't you think so? Sheng Kai did not say anything, but no matter how stupid he was, he would not be stupid enough to believe Changbin's words. Changbin had never been on the same side as him. What Changbin wanted was a chance to take revenge. In order to take revenge, he would do anything, even at the cost of his life. President Sheng, you're already a part of the game. Don't even think about escaping. You're Mr. Jin's godson. Don't let him down. Sheng Kai couldn't take it anymore and rushed out of Changrong. He had nowhere else to go, so he went to Gu Ziling's grandfather's house. However, from the moment he entered the door, he rushed toward Grandpa Gu's study aggressively. Grandpa Gu was reading some documents. When he saw Sheng Kai coming back, he immediately frowned. Don't you know how to knock? It was you. Sheng Kai went forward and grabbed the old man's collar. You were the one who introduced me to Jin Bo. You were the one who made me Jin Bo's godson. So what if I was? Didn't you get Changrong from your godfather? My life is almost gone. Why would I care about Changrong? Sheng Kai shouted. Do you know what they're doing? You're my grandson-in-law. Why would I harm you? After hearing the Gu family's words, Sheng Kai laughed out loud. Why would you harm me? When did the Gu family ever think highly of me? Gu Ziling, her mother. And you have never treated me as a human being. You recognized me as a godfather, and even put the blade on my neck. Is this what you mean by not harming me? Sheng Kai, are you crazy? Gu Ziling rushed home. When she saw this scene, she quickly went forward. However, Sheng Kai pushed her away. I'm crazy. Ask your good grandfather what Jin Bo does for a living. I told you before, but you didn't listen. Gu Ziling stood in front of Sheng Kai. Why don't you ask yourself if you want to make a comeback all day long? Isn't it all because of you? You keep telling me that I'm useless and incompetent every day. You're incompetent, and you're impotent. Gu Ziling was exasperated. But when she said that, Sheng Kai went crazy. Gu Ziling, I'm not wrong. You don't have to look at me like that. Sheng Kai took 2 steps back and pointed at Gu Ziling. I'll definitely make you kneel down and beg me. Beg me to let you and your family go. With that, Sheng Kai turned around and left. His dignity as a man had been completely trampled on by Gu Ziling. Just wait and see. He wouldn't be so useless forever. Sheng Xiao also received the news of Shen Yu's death. He didn't know if Su Che had made any new breakthroughs. At the same time, he was worried about the safety of Su Che and the others. How far were these people going to go? Who else were their targets? When Sheng Bowen heard about this, he immediately went to Zhongting to ask Sheng Xiao for confirmation. Sheng Xiao didn't hide it from him, and his tone had never been so solemn. We haven't figured out who's behind this. So, take good care of the Sheng family during this period of time, especially the old man's health. Sheng Bowen put on a serious expression. Seeing that Sheng Xiao was serious, he didn't dare to be negligent. I'll be careful. It's just that when I think about how there's a traitor in the family, I feel uncomfortable. That's the path he chose. After Sheng Xiao said that, he returned Sheng Bowen's asset certificates to him. Don't give them to Chi-er in the future. If there's a next time I won't return them. Then don't return them. 8th brother, help me supervise the funds. Sheng Xiao raised his head and glared at him. Was this person not done yet? Did you call Xiaoqi yesterday and have a conflict? Do you think you're too free? Huang Yao, I'm afraid of you. Sheng Bowen quickly took back his things. He was afraid that Sheng Xiao would ask him to go back and be the CEO again. Now that Huang Yao was under Sheng Xiao's nose, he didn't want to throw it to him to be ruined. Perhaps he was afraid that Sheng Xiao would be serious. So Sheng Bowen tactfully left Zhongting. This person really couldn't take a joke. He wasn't cute at all. There were still 2 days before the agreed time between Sheng Xiao and Su Che. However, in the middle of the night, Sheng Xiao was woken up by Su Che's phone call. CEO, there's a breakthrough. The photo has been sent to your phone. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Is it safe? It's safe. Set off now and come back immediately. Sheng Xiao reminded him. Or I'll send someone to pick you up immediately. I'm just a little injured. It's not a big deal. Don't make such a big commotion. It'll arouse suspicion. If there's a problem, call for help at any time. Chapter 820. There were only 3 photos in total. It could be seen that it was extremely difficult to take them. One of them was a photo of Su Hong wearing a cheongsam and holding a tray. The other 2 were the side profiles of a young woman and a middle-aged man. Sheng Xiao did not understand, so he sent the photos to Tang Yan. It seemed that this mystery could only be solved when Su Che returned. However, Su Hong discovered that a stranger had barged into the hotel. So she chased after him everywhere and sent the news to Jinbo. Jinbo knew that someone was secretly investigating. Other than Tang Yan and a few others who were in the way, there was no one else. He had wanted to wait a few days before sending Cheng Bin on stage, but since the police were so nosy, he could only shut them up forever. The next morning, Su Che returned from J City and arranged for the other 2 informants. However, because of his injuries, Su Che's face looked a little pale. Sheng Xiao was bandaging his wound in Zhongting's office. He frowned and his expression was stern. What exactly are these photos? A party, a dirty party? I don't know how it was organized, who initiated it, or how the cycle was arranged. These people were all accompanied by young girls. I think the previous cases of Chongrong Electronics were all related to this. 2 informants knew how to cook and mixed in with the cooks. That's why they had the chance to get close to the private room on the rooftop. It was too difficult to take photos. These are the only 3 photos they took. We should be able to confirm the identity of the man in the photo, but the 3 of us might have been discovered by the other party. Don't let anyone know that you're injured. Sheng Xiao pressed on his wound. You haven't been to J City either. You just went home to visit your family. I understand, Su Che replied through gritted teeth. How does the CEO plan to deal with this matter? If he followed the man's vines, he would be able to touch the melon. However, if what Su Che said was true, then he had to be on high alert during this period of time, especially the people from the Jianchuan branch. Especially Tang Yan. Originally, Cheng Bin could be used at any time in the other party's camp. It just depended on when the other party wanted to use this card. After Tang Yan received the photo, he asked the technical analyst to secretly check the identity of the man in the photo. The analyst was a little shocked when he saw the result. He did not dare to make a sound, but quietly went to Tang Yan's office and told him the result. After Tang Yan heard that, his brows deepened. He only said to the analyst, "For your own safety, don't tell anyone." I know, but Captain Tang, where did this photo come from? Now that things have come to this, the police force in our bureau is not enough to investigate. I will ask the higher-ups. You have to take care of this matter. Don't mention it to anyone, understand? I understand. I'll forget about it. The analyst left Tang Yan's office in fear. Tang Yan took the documents and went straight to the chief's office without hesitation. He handed the documents to him. Chief. After the director saw it, his face suddenly changed. He pointed at the photo in the information and asked, "Where did you get this? You are not allowed to investigate this case anymore. Do you hear me? Tang Yan, you are just a criminal police officer. You have to know your own identity. I will hand this over to the special forces. For such a big case, none of us can bear the consequences." Chief, don't worry. I'll forget about it after I walk out of this door. After listening to Tang Yan's words, the director was relieved and his expression softened. Tang Yan, I'm doing this for your own good. Your little wife is pregnant now. Take good care of her. Don't work so hard. I know. Don't worry. Someone will pull in the net for these big fish. You have to be careful. Such a seemingly simple case involved a lot of things. Tang Yan knew very well that unless he caught the last big fish in Bicini's case, this case would never be cleared. Of course, that was not something that a criminal police officer like him could do. The higher-ups would make their own decisions. Chief, I know what I'm doing. If you know what you're doing, then go out. Originally, there was a case that needed your help, but I saw that you have a family to take care of, so I let someone else go. We'll talk about it when your wife's pregnancy stabilizes. Tang Yan was very grateful to the director for this. Moreover, He also understood that there were some things that even the director could not do anything about. After that, Tang Yin left the police station. He wanted to drive the black jeep to Zhongting, but he could not be so ostentatious. Hence, he arranged a time to meet Sheng Xiao on the phone. In the evening, Sheng Xiao got off work early and brought Su Che to Tang Yan's courtyard. The two men looked at each other and were equally calm. Tang Yan brewed tea for Sheng Xiao. Sit. Then he handed a copy of the information to Sheng Xiao. After you read it, burn it. Looks like it really has something to do with the change in office in a few years. After Sheng Xiao found out the identity of that person, he took the lighter from Tang Yan's hand and destroyed the information in front of him. From today onwards, forget about this matter. Tang Yan's tone was heavy, and his sharp face was filled with sharpness. Whether it's me or you, I'm just a businessman. I only know how to do business. Since there are still a few years, the other party won't touch me for the time being. But you're different. Whether it was Cheng Bin or his identity as a criminal police officer, to the other party, he had a reason to get rid of him. But what should I do? I'm just a criminal police officer. Tang Yan's response was almost sarcastic. Before I got married, I was all alone. I would play with Cheng Bin to the end. But as you can see, I have a wife and child now. I don't want her to live in fear. And I don't want her to get involved in danger. My soul belongs to the country. My body is not my own. But my heart can only belong to her. Retreat to the second line. The police academy suits you, Sheng Xiao suggested. Tang Yin shook his head and refused to hide. I won't retreat. The more I hide, the more confident he will be. Maybe we can set up a trap. When Tang Yin heard these words, his hands could not help but tremble. Sheng Bowen had fought a beautiful battle before, which gave him confidence and motivation. However, Cheng Bin was not Xinyu. Cheng Bin was experienced and good at disguising himself. He was not easy to deal with. However, Sheng Zhao's suggestion made Tang Yin extremely tempted. Wait for the right time. What will come soon. The two men looked at each other. They had already reached a tacit understanding. Mu Qiqi arrived home at 1 o'clock. When she saw that Su Che was still in Sheng Zhao's study, she greeted him in surprise. Su Che, you're back. Su Che was stunned for a moment. He was not used to Mu Qiqi's enthusiasm. I came back in the morning. Chapter 821. Su Che went over and gained something, didn't he? Sheng Xiao looked at her wet ink head. She didn't know how to dry it, so he put down the document, held her hand, and returned to the bedroom. Sit down. Mu Qiqi enjoyed this kind of pampering. She half closed her eyes, and took a long time before she heard the voice above her head. It's the Shen family's opponent who's stirring up trouble behind our backs. That's why they see us as a thorn in their side. From tonight onwards, you have to forget about Baisini's case, because it's not a big fish that we can catch. Since there's still time, the other party won't act rashly for the time being. It's just that Tang Yin will be in more danger. The other party is afraid that Tang Yin will continue to investigate, and it's also because of Cheng Bin. Mu Qiqi understood immediately, and stopped smiling mischievously. You told me not to pay attention to it. Of course I'll listen to you. But what about Captain Tang and Feng Shanshan? If there's any progress, I'll set up a trap with Tang Yin. So no matter what I do in the future, don't ask. After it's over, I'll give you a complete answer. Wasn't that respectful enough? Mu Qiqi nodded. You just need to let me know that there's this matter. I won't ask about the details. This isn't an occasion for me to watch a show. It was related to the safety of her two friends. You're sensible. Sheng Xiao dried her hair, and used his slender fingers to run through her hair. The fragrance wafted into his nose. It smelled very good. But you have to promise me that you'll protect them. Do you really think of me as a god? Sheng Xiao put down the hairdryer, and stared at the little one's head. However, before he could get up, Mu Qiqi hugged him. I don't care if you're a god or not. I just believe in you. I still have to go to the Shen family later. Go to bed early. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded to reassure him. There was no one left in the Sheng family to discuss, but the Shen family did. Fortunately, the Shen family still had grandfather and father. This way, at least Xiao Xiao would have less to bear. Late at night, Sheng Xiao went to the Shen family. Grandpa Shen looked at the photo with his presbyopic glasses. He snorted and said, "A bunch of trash. They don't do proper things, and only go to dishonest ways. But in fact it's meaningless. My Shen family selflessly serves the public for the sake of the people. It's just that I've implicated you, the younger generation. It makes me feel uneasy." "Sheng Xiao, don't worry. Your father-in-law has already decided to leave the mountain. Let him handle some of the things that you can't do. There's no need to go so far." Sheng Xiao's intention in coming here was nothing more than to remind the Shen family to be on their guard and prepare for a rainy day. For him, the most important thing was the safety of his family. "You have to protect Xiaoqi. She is your favorite, and will easily become a target for others. Moreover, she is the daughter of the Shen family. I know the weight of this matter." Grandpa Shen looked at Sheng Xiao. This man was mature and steady. There was nothing for him to worry about. Although Xiaoqi was a little mischievous, she would never lose to a man in front of a big problem. So Grandpa Shen believed that no matter how big the problem was, it would not be a problem for this young couple. Now that the enemy was in the dark and they were out in the open, they had to be careful in order to survive. Jinbo's men searched the entire J City, but could not find the informants. "Stupid police. I didn't expect the hotel to be so heavily guarded, but we still couldn't stop these cops. How disgusting," Su Hong told Jinbo over the phone. "Sir, what should we do now? The situation has been tense recently. Restrain yourself, and don't give the other party any more chances. As for the police, I'll think of a way to deal with them." Jinbo calmly comforted her. "Don't tell anyone that the hotel has been breached by the police. Those people are timid and can't withstand the shock." "I understand. Deal with by Cindy's mother. Don't kill her. She's in the wind now, so be careful." As for the rest, when Cheng Bin was ready, Tang Yin would leave it to Cheng Bin to deal with. Of course, Cheng Bin alone was definitely not enough. He had to find a helper for Cheng Bin. After Shen Yu died, Cheng Bin put life and death aside because he knew that if he wanted to achieve his goal, he would have to pay the price. He was not as naive as Sheng Kai. 3 days later, Cheng Bin received a call from Jinbo. "I've arranged for a helper for you. He'll be here tomorrow." "Thank you, Master Jin. Deal with Tang Yin well. I'll wait for your good news." Cheng Bin only hoped that the person Jinbo sent was not someone like Shen Yu. In a real sense, it would be of help to him. Therefore, the next day, he went to the airport to pick up the person. He held a sign in his hand. He thought that it would be a man, but when he picked up the person, he realized that it was a tall beauty wearing sunglasses. "I'm Song Qiaoji, a doctor. I have my own arrangements in Jianchuan. You don't have to pick me up. Keep in touch by phone. It's best if we don't meet at other times, because you're so ugly." The other party did not care about Cheng Bin's welcome. She dragged her suitcase and quickly left Cheng Bin's line of sight in her fashionable high heels. Cheng Bin did not know what use a woman had for him. Wasn't she even inferior to Shen Yu? Cheng Bin was very confused about this, so he called Jinbo Master Jin. "What's the use of sending a woman to me? Don't underestimate her. You'll know soon enough." Jinbo did not explain too much, and his tone was rather mysterious. Cheng Bin was still unconvinced. If the help that Master Jin wanted to give him was just a woman, he would rather do it himself. Perhaps she knew that he would not be convinced, so after Song Qiaoji settled down, she sent a message to Cheng Bin. "Shallow man. I heard that Tang Yan's woman is pregnant, and I'm an obstetrician." Did such a reminder need to be more explicit? There was no need. Cheng Bin suddenly understood Jinbo's intentions. It was useless to deal with men, especially men like Tang Yan, who were strong in one-on-one combat. His weakness was the same as Sheng Zhao's. They were both women, especially pregnant women. As long as he had Feng Shanshan in his hands, wouldn't Tang Yin be at his mercy? He only needed to wait for Song Qiaoji's signal, and wait for the opportunity to make a move. After the incident with Shen Yu, peace seemed to have returned to the surroundings. The case of Sheng Bowen's escape was taken over by the Sheng family's lawyer, and would be heard in court a month later. As long as no one interfered, Sheng Bowen had a high chance of being innocent. On the other side, they had originally agreed that this was a gift for Sheng Kai, But now that Sheng Kai and Jinbo had fallen out like this and Jinbo had lost Xinyu, of course, he could not sacrifice more for Sheng Kai. Sheng Kai knew his current situation. He was unwilling, but at the same time, he did not want to be used by Jinbo and die a graveless death in the end. Chapter 822. It was at this critical moment that Sheng Kai received a message. It was a message that made his eyes widen in disbelief. Time flew by. Ever since that day when Sheng Xiao asked her to forget about it, Mu Qiqi never mentioned it again. Life returned to normal. Mu Qiqi took some time to go to the hospital to see old Cheng. Seeing that he was recovering well, she was relieved. Usually, when Captain Tang comes to see me, I ask about the progress of the case. It's been so long. How's the investigation going? Old Cheng covered his wound and asked Mu Qiqi, "Don't tell me that I've suffered this injury for nothing?" Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and leaned against the side of the bed. She didn't know where to start. She just said, "The director has already ordered a ban on investigating this matter. No one is allowed to mention it again. It's the same when you return to the team." "What's going on?" Old Cheng looked unconvinced. "Haven't we found something?" "It's precisely because we've found something that we can't continue." Mu Qiqi looked at him seriously and said, "Trust Captain Tang's arrangements. Rest well." Old Cheng understood something, but he was unconvinced. "I suffered this injury for nothing. Maybe the case will be solved one day." After Mu Qiqi said that, she took out 2 books from her bag. "I was afraid that you would be bored in the hospital, so I left these for you to pass the time." Old Cheng knew that he couldn't continue investigating the case, and was a little disappointed. "Leave it. I'll look at it when I have time." Mu Qiqi did not force him. She walked out of Old Cheng's ward alone. She finally understood a truth. In this world, there were many things that could not be answered, nor could they be justified. The next day, it was the weekend. Mu Qiqi was supposed to go to Sonda class, but because Tang Yin was called away by the chief, Feng Shanshan asked her to accompany him for the prenatal checkup. Of course, Mu Qiqi was duty-bound to help her godson. However, when she saw that Feng Shanshan had a mother at the age of 22, and she had to wait until she was 24, she felt speechless. Seeing that she was depressed, Feng Shanshan smiled. "Are you so unwilling to accompany me for a prenatal checkup?" "I'm just lamenting that I won't be able to get pregnant when your son is already a nobody. Your big CEO is doing this for your own good. Don't be insensible." Feng Shanshan educated her. "It was an accident. I had no choice. Otherwise, do you think I wanted to get pregnant at this time?" Although Tang Yin usually did not talk about Cheng Bin in front of Feng Shanshan, there were several nights when she could feel Tang Yin calling and getting up behind her back. Sometimes he would even stay up late. She was indeed drowsy, but she was not unconscious. "You're a national treasure now. You're precious." Mu Qiqi reached out and stroked her belly. She could feel the miracle of life. The 2 of them chatted as they arrived at the entrance of the ultrasound room. Soon, Feng Shanshan was done with the examination and took the report to the doctor's office. Feng Shanshan sat down and found that the other party was unfamiliar. Seeing the wary look in Feng Shanshan's eyes, she explained with a smile, "I'm the director of obstetrics and gynecology who has just been appointed. My surname is Song." "The previous Dr. Li," she resigned. Song Qiaoji explained, "If you feel worried about me, I'll arrange someone else for you." "Don't." Dr. Song saved a mother and child who had a difficult birth yesterday. His medical skills are very good. The doctor's assistant whispered to her, "This is the military doctor from the army. Miss Feng, you mustn't miss him." Feng Shanshan gradually relaxed and nodded. "Thank you, Dr. Song. Look at the report. There's no big problem. He's a little anemic. Come over more frequently." Song Qiaoji pinched Feng Shanshan's arm and said, "Can you also eat some nuts on a daily basis?" "Okay. If there's anything you can call me. Save my number." Mu Qiqi carefully sized up the fashionable blonde female doctor. She could tell that she was very confident in her medical skills. Moreover, her attitude was gentle. She was probably very popular in the hospital. Why isn't Dr. Song a military doctor anymore? Mu Qiqi sat at the side, a little gossipy. Song Qiaoji smiled and winked at her. I traveled the world for love, but unfortunately, I still broke up with that scumbag in the end. I couldn't return to the army, so I went to serve in an ordinary hospital. Actually, there's no difference. Dr. Song is so humorous. If you have gynecological problems, or if you don't get along with a guy, you can also come to me, Song Qiaoji whispered to Mu Qiqi. Her personality was very much to Mu Qiqi's liking. She was generous and direct, and she didn't beat around the bush. However, this was a critical period, and Song Qiaoji had suddenly taken up the post. This made Mu Qiqi a little wary. Then I'll thank you in advance, Dr. Song. Shanshan, the prenatal checkup is over. Let's go. Feng Shanshan took the report and stood up with her help. However, just as she reached the door, Tang Yin chased after her and took Feng Shanshan from Mu Qiqi's hands. I'm late. It's already done. Actually, you didn't have to come. Feng Shanshan didn't blame him. If possible, I want to be by your side as much as possible. Mu Qiqi walked behind the two of them and felt like she had been fed a mouthful of dog food. Who wanted to see you two get tired of each other? However, right behind the three of them, a fiery gaze landed on them. They were really happy now, but in the future, it would be really tragic. After Chengbin knew that Feng Shanshan had gone to Song Qiaoji's place for a prenatal checkup, he urged her to find an opportunity to make a move. Song Qiaoji crossed her arms. She didn't want to talk to this man at all. He had just put the bait in, and he couldn't wait to reel it in? No one else was that stupid, especially Mu Qiqi. Song Qiaoji could feel that this girl was young, in her early 20s, but her eyes were very sharp. From the initial enthusiasm to the sudden calmness in the end, all of this told Song Qiaoji that this girl was observing her. You have to give me a deadline, right? Are you going to make me wait endlessly like this? It's not impossible, Song Qiaoji replied over the phone. Song Qiaoji replied over the phone. Father asked me to complete the mission not just to assist you. You just want revenge, but I don't have a deep grudge against them. Father, you're Mr. Jin's daughter? This is not a topic worth discussing. Song Qiaoji quickly changed the topic. In short, I'll contact you if there's any news. Before that, you have to stay calm. Otherwise, the plan will fail, and all your efforts will be for naught. You can talk to my father yourself. She was also a young lady who was difficult to please. Chengbin snorted. However, a few years had passed. Why would he be afraid of waiting for a few more months? Song Qiaoji was not like Shenyu, who was just an adopted son. She was Jin Bo's biological daughter, but she was his biological daughter. In the past, when Jin Bo asked her for missions, they were all extremely vicious people. But this time, he asked her to deal with a young pregnant woman in her early 20s. Chapter 823. On the way home, Feng Shanshan saw that Mu Qiqi was deep in thought and poked her arm. Why do you think everyone is a bad person? Do you have to be so paranoid? I don't think there's anything wrong with Dr. Song. I just think it's a coincidence that she appeared at this time. Captain Tang handed him over to me. Of course, I have to keep a close eye on him. Do you think danger is coming? Is it a joke? Little Seventh is right. He drove with his left hand and held Feng Shanshan's left hand with his right. Even though it was only for a while, he was reluctant to let go. You two are like old mates now. You're always talking nonsense. Feng Shanshan complained, but her heart was warm. Mu Qiqi knew that she didn't mean what she said, so she just glared at her. She didn't want to be an old maid either, but Feng Shanshan was alone. No, Feng Shanshan actually had parents, but they had remarried. They had known each other for so long, but Mu Qiqi had never heard her mention her parents. She said that she had no feelings for them, and she had even compromised with a scumbag a few times, just for a photo with her parents. But she had feelings. She had already married Tang Yan and had a child, but she did not mention her parents at all. At that thought, Mu Qiqi could not help but take a few more glances at Feng Shanshan. Tang Yan was busy every day, and she was in class. Feng Shanshan was alone at home most of the time. Loneliness was a small matter, but he was afraid that she would encounter something suddenly and not even have someone to ask for help. Mu Qiqi wanted to mention it, but she felt that it was not appropriate to ask about their family matters. This was something that Tang Yin should worry about. As a friend, she had her own boundaries. After returning home, Mu Chichi saw that fifth aunt had cooked nourishing chicken soup, so she asked her if pregnant women could take it. Fifth aunt smiled and explained the effects to her. She immediately packed a bowl for Feng Shanshan. Then fifth aunt sent the chicken soup to Tang Yan's house. Feng Shanshan was very emotional when she saw it. Miss Feng, if there's any soup you'd like to drink, just give me a call. When I make it for Miss Chichi, I'll make a bowl for you too. Thank you, fifth aunt. Although it was just a bowl of chicken soup, Feng Shanshan felt very upset. Miss Chichi cares about you. Feng Shanshan looked at the bowl of chicken soup. It would be a lie to say that she was not envious. When a person was pregnant, it was inevitable for their imagination to run wild. He squatted beside her and said, "When you married me, you knew about my situation. I only have one uncle. My family is small, and I don't seem to have any elders who can take care of you. When we registered, I asked you if you needed to inform your parents. At that time, you didn't seem to care, and I didn't insist. But I think I did something wrong." Although Feng Shanshan had been separated from her family for many years, it was not that she had not thought about it. When her parents remarried, she left them with hatred. She never thought that she would meet her parents again. However, now that she was about to become a mother, she also hoped that there would be someone around her who would care about her and care for her. This was something that Tang Yin and Mu Chichi could not make up for. "If you want, I can accompany you back to find them. Aren't you busy with work? Is there no case in the station? The chief has recently assigned all the important cases to me because he knows about my situation. There was only one person at home. If anything happened to Feng Shanshan and the child, then Tang Yin would be destroyed. Then let me think about it." This time, Feng Shanshan did not resist. She still had hope in her heart. "There's no hurry." Tang Yin held Feng Shanshan's hand and was extremely gentle. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. Ever since Huang Yao merged with Zhongting, Sheng Xiao returned home a little later. In the past, he could enter the house at 7 o'clock on time. Now at 8:30, he was nowhere to be seen. After Mu Chichi washed up, she sat in the study and looked at the 100 little things after pregnancy. Before Feng Shanshan went to bed, she called her. "Today, Tang Yin suggested that we go find my parents. I'm afraid they'll be disappointed." Mu Chichi understood her. When she was young and impetuous. She ran out and did not interact with her parents. Now that she ran back rashly, she would only disturb other people's families. "Your eyes are too sharp. I can't make this decision. Although my eyes and heart are filled with that stinky man, I can't leave my family. I feel that family can bring me joy and make me feel that living in this world is very warm and stable. You and Tang Yin are too lonely. Even if the child is born, it's only a family of 3. It's too weak. Of course, if you try in the end and find that your parents are heartless people, you can give up. I don't mind letting my father take in a goddaughter." Feng Shanshan's heart warmed when she heard this. "I understand. If you understand, then go to bed early. Don't tire my godson out." Feng Shanshan felt at ease and put down her phone. Seeing that Tang Yin was lying on the big bed, she whispered in his ear, "When you have time, accompany me to find my parents." Tang Yin was surprised for 2 seconds before he calmed down and nodded. Okay. Sometimes he was very jealous of Mu Chichi's position in Feng Shanshan's heart. Even as her husband, he could not compare to her. Only Feng Shanshan knew that it was different. Half an hour later, Sheng Xiao pushed open the door of the study. When he saw the little thing crossing her legs leisurely, he frowned. "You're not like a woman at all. Tisk tsk, you're lecturing me as soon as you come back." Mu Chichi put down the book in her hand and moved a seat for her man. "Now, you only come home at 8:30 every day. CEO Sheng, all the ants in the world have been trampled to death by you." Sheng Xiao sat down beside Mu Chichi and leaned over her. "If you don't beat me for 3 days, you'll tear the tiles off the roof. That's what I'm talking about." Mu Chichi's eyes sparkled nonstop. Her arm around the man's neck was also very strong. "Then why don't you hit me?" Sheng Xiao tilted his head and saw that Mu Chichi was looking at those strange things again. He hooked her chin and asked, Haven't you given up yet? What? Mu Qiqi frowned and reacted after a moment. I'm reading it for Feng Shanshan. Who wants to give birth to your child? Are you so resistant? I can't even read? After saying that, Mu Qiqi pushed Sheng Xiao away and went back to the bedroom angrily. This thing's temper was getting worse. Now, Jianchuan seemed calm on the surface, but there were undercurrents surging in the dark. At least, he still wanted this thing to live comfortably for the next few years. It was not that Mu Qiqi did not understand Sheng Xiao's thoughts. It was just that he was too paranoid. It was just reading a book. Why did he have such a big reaction? A moment later, Sheng Xiao returned to the room. Seeing that the little thing's back was facing him, he did not go up to coax her. He waited until she was done washing up and lying on the bed before turning her over. You know that I dote on you and spoil you, but now you're getting more and more lawless? Chapter 824. Mama Bai is dead. Sheng Xiao supported his arm and told Mu Qiqi. When Mu Qiqi heard this, she suddenly became serious. When did this happen? How did she die? She knew that the Mama Bai that Sheng Xiao was talking about was Bai Sini's mother, although she deserved it. The body found in the morning was said to have died of illness, but it should have been revenge. That's good. Bai Sini's grievances are finally lessened. Mu Qiqi was a little flustered. We agreed not to talk about this anymore. But are you still investigating? Su Che's informant just happened to get the news. With that, Sheng Xiao changed into a comfortable position and hugged Mu Qiqi in his arms. If you don't want me to worry, then be obedient. Everyone knows that you're my favorite. Everyone also knows that you're the daughter of the Shen family. Mu Qiqi remained silent. In order to seize power, that group of people can die without a burial ground. But if you're injured, who will compensate me for a small thing? I have to be careful to protect my own things. Otherwise, who can be like me? Care about you as much as I do. Mu Qiqi understood the second half of his sentence, and her eyes suddenly turned red. Did you drink? Because her Sheng Xiao rarely said such things to her directly, it made her heart ache. No matter how strong he appeared on the surface, he would still be afraid. Then hide me at home. I'm not going anywhere. Mu Qiqi might not have thought that such a sentence would come true one day. Sheng Xiao turned over and pressed Mu Qiqi under his body. His lips also covered hers, carrying a trace of the fragrance and sweetness of red wine. He had indeed drunk. Mu Qiqi did not want to push him away. She closed her eyes and enjoyed the entanglement of their lips and teeth. Gradually, her heart was moved and her desire was aroused. Fifth Aunt knew a lot about diet, so Mu Qiqi's body was nurtured very well. Sheng Xiao gradually realized that this thing's skin was fair and elastic. It felt very good to the touch, and the parts that should be firm did not disappoint him. He squeezed hard, but he could not fully grasp them. He continued downward. Her waist was slender and did not have a trace of fat. That was also thanks to the effect of Sonda and the outline of the waistline. The flaming palm kept burning Mu Qiqi's mind. For some reason, Mu Qiqi felt as if she had been bewitched. The two of them had been playing the flute almost every single day, but there had never been a time like tonight, when they were so mesmerized that they couldn't extricate themselves from it. Xiao Xiao. Sheng Xiao gently pushed away the obstruction, and the two of them joined together. Mu Qiqi sighed in satisfaction. Soon, she lost control of the man's crazy rhythm. After the tide fell, Mu Qiqi lay on Sheng Xiao's body and panted. She could not calm down for a long time. That was because this man would always spoil her and let her have her way when they were together. He always made her feel comfortable and looked down on her age. But today was different. She felt that he treated her as a real woman, without any age boundaries. You've grown up, Sheng Xiao suddenly said after a while. Mu Qiqi reacted for a moment and looked down at her chest. Her face turned even redder. Is that a pun? Sheng Xiao chuckled and got up to carry her into the bathroom. But no matter how old you get, you're still that 17-year-old little thing in my heart. I'll be a mature woman sooner or later. Mu Qiqi puffed out her chest. Your mind has yet to be tested, but your figure has to be tested first. Sheng Xiao felt that he should double Fifth Aunt's salary. His earlier decision was also very correct. This little thing's face was rosy every day. It was obvious that she had been nourished well. Muchichi sat on the sink and did not say anything. After a while, she suddenly hugged Xingzhao's neck. I'll be safe and stay by your side until you're 80 years old. Didn't you say that? I was the one who dragged you into hell. No matter where I am, I can't leave you alone. Xingzhao hugged her and felt a little more at ease. The world was big, and he had a lot. But the only thing he really cared about was this little thing in his arms. Whoever moved would take his life. The next day, Tang Yin packed some clothes and applied for leave from the station. He prepared to bring Feng Shanshan to look for her parents. Feng Shanshan was very nervous, but Muchichi was right. No matter what, she was still the same as now, with Tang Yan's family of 3. However, it had been too long since they last contacted each other. Feng Shanshan did not know how the two of them were doing. She only had the address when they parted. Tang Yin drove and brought Feng Shanshan to the dilapidated neighborhood. However, the Feng family had already been sold, and the new family gave Feng Shanshan a new phone number. It was Papa Feng's. Feng Shanshan held it in her hand and felt that it was a little hot. Seeing that she was not moving, Tang Yin took the note from her hand. I'll make the call. I'll make the call myself. Feng Shanshan snatched it and accepted her fate as she pressed a series of numbers. The phone beeped a few times before it was finally connected. A familiar voice was heard. Hello. I'm Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan said to the other party, her body tense. The other party was silent for a while, as if he did not know what to say. After a long time he said to Feng Shanshan, let's meet. I'll send a car to pick you up. Tell me the address. My husband and I will come over ourselves. Feng Shanshan rejected the other party's suggestion. All right. With that, the other party gave her the address. Feng Shanshan entered Tang Yan's phone and asked him to follow the navigation. Tang Yan took the phone and patted Feng Shanshan's head as a silent comfort. Feng Shanshan was very nervous. She could not tell if she was looking forward to it or avoiding it. Half an hour later, the two of them stopped in front of a building. It was called the Hanwen Group. Feng Shanshan stood at the entrance of the building and was stopped by the security guard. Madam, do you have an appointment? I'm looking for Feng Yanqing. That's the name of our chairman. If you don't have an appointment, I won't let you in. Please forgive me. Tang Yin parked the car and came over. When he heard the conversation between the security guard and Feng Shanshan, he smiled silently. I didn't expect you to be a young lady who has been abandoned by the people. I don't know what's going on either. Feng Shanshan glared at him. Then you can leave now. We don't match each other's families. Let's make another call and ask. Tang Yin supported her and did not continue joking with her. Feng Shanshan took out her phone and was about to make a call when she saw a woman walk out of the door. Miss Feng, right? Please follow me. Feng Shanshan was very nervous. She followed behind the secretary, and the two of them went straight to the top floor of the company. Then Feng Shanshan and Papa Feng were sent to the chairman's office. Papa Feng was very busy, but when he looked up and saw Feng Shanshan, he still smiled. I thought my daughter couldn't find her way home. Chapter 825. After I divorced your mother, I started my own business, sold the house, and came to this day. I know that you've always hated me, so I left my phone number with the new landlord of the old house. All these years, I haven't dared to change it. I just hope that one day, you can return to my side, Papa Feng explained. He looked gentle and elegant, as if he was not hated at all. But why would Feng Shanshan rather live alone for so many years than look for her parents? My daughter, you're finally back. Feng Shanshan was not used to it, and she did not feel real. The person she called her father hugged her gently, but she did not feel her father's warmth. Come sit down and talk. The father and daughter had originally planned to catch up, but at that moment, a woman in her mid-20s knocked on the door and entered the office in high heels. Dad, the contract is ready. Feng Shanshan turned her head and looked at her. So this was the legendary sister. Of course, the other party was also looking at Feng Shanshan. Wenwen, come quickly. This is your sister. I still have other things to do, so I'll go out first. Feng Wen did not intend to look at Feng Shanshan at all. To her, her sister was a creature that did not exist at all. All these years, Feng Shanshan had not appeared. She heard that it was because she hated Papa Feng. Why had she been so stubborn for so many years? In the end, after knowing that the Feng family was a big corporation, did she still want to stick to them? When Feng Shanshan heard the word sister, her expression changed. This was the first time she had personally witnessed how much her father had wronged her mother back then. Shanshan. Seeing the awkward scene, Papa Feng quickly held Feng Shanshan's hand and said, "It's not what you think. I hope you can go home. Don't wander outside anymore. I can take care of you now." However, Feng Shanshan had always been proud. Moreover, she did not care about any big corporations at all. She only thought of her humble mother, and stood up silently. "Tang Yen, let's go. Shanshan. Just pretend that I never came today." After saying that, Feng Shanshan turned around. However, she saw Papa Feng take out a check and fill in a series of numbers. "Here, take this." It turned out that even Papa Feng thought that she came to ask for money. Feng Shanshan felt that it was very ironic, but she still took the check. "Daddy will find you another day." Feng Shanshan walked out of the chairman's office and met Feng Wen outside with Tang Yen. Feng Wen looked her up and down, especially when she saw the check in her hand. She smiled mockingly. "You can get quite a lot just by coming back." Unfortunately, Feng Shanshan was not one to be trifled with. She immediately retorted, "All these years, I've never asked him for a single cent of child support. I think your pocket money all these years should be more than that. Next time, I'll definitely get it back with interest." Profiteer. What can you do to me? I'm also your biological daughter, and I'm legal. Then, she grabbed Tang Yan's hand and entered the elevator. In the elevator, Tang Yan put his arm around Feng Shanshan to prevent her from catching a cold. He knew that her heart would inevitably turn cold after seeing such a scene. "Looks like you won't be able to be a rich son-in-law." Feng Shanshan smiled at him. "I even took that man's money. You're not that kind of person. You're just angry." Tang Yan knew her. Although she was not a kind person, she did not love money to this extent. "If I had known it would be so frustrating, I wouldn't have come." Feng Shanshan put the check away and put it in her purse. "Find out where there's a need for donations, and do some good for him. Are you still going to look for your mother?" Feng Shanshan shook her head. "No, I think the three of us are quite good now. What if we poke another hornet's nest and disturb someone else's peace? Wouldn't I deserve to die? You don't even want to be a rich young lady. Are you stupid? With you I won't be a rich young lady. I'll just be a police sister-in-law." Feng Shanshan followed him into the car. "I just hope that I won't get into any endless trouble because of this." "I'm not afraid of your little trouble." Tang Yan smiled as he opened the car door and brought Feng Shanshan home. "Don't be disappointed." "I'm not disappointed." Feng Shanshan forced a smile. Then, she took out her phone and gave Mu Chichi a call. She told Mu Chichi about the situation. After Mu Chichi heard it, she was silent for a while. Finally she sighed. "After all, aren't you also a high-class person? The kind that you look down on yourself." "I'm not. Tisk, I'll go back to my dad tonight and take you in as his goddaughter." "What's so great about a biological father? Perhaps he's not as straightforward as my dad, a godfather." Mu Chichi took this seriously. "I really don't care about the Hanwen group anymore." "I'm not joking." "I'm not joking. Do you dislike me or something?" Mu Chichi became serious. "Do you think anyone can become a family with me?" Feng Shanshan did not say anything, but her eyes turned red. Mu Chichi did not say anything, because she hung up the phone. She really felt that it was possible. Feng Shanshan and Sheng Xiao were too weak. If they could get some of the Shun family's blessing, they might be able to prosper in the future. Moreover, Captain Tang and Sheng Xiao could get along. If she and Feng Shanshan could really become god-sisters, she would be quite happy. Therefore, when Sheng Xiao returned home that night, Mu Chichi told him about it. Sheng Xiao had nothing to object to. After all, in this thing's heart, Feng Shanshan was very important. "Dad has always doted on you, but you have to ask him if he's willing. If Dad doesn't like Feng Shanshan, don't force him." "Do you think I'm stupid?" Mu Chichi shouted at the man. Then, she went to the Shun family and briefly explained the situation. Feng Shanshan was always mentioned by Mu Qiqi. The two of them had a deep hatred for each other in the past. She did not expect that they would be fated to meet in the end. Therefore, Old Master Shen and Shen Jianchuan did not object. The two of them even admired Tang Yin very much. It would be good if they really had such a son-in-law. When you have time, invite the two of them over for dinner. Let them come to the Shen family more often, Old Master Shen suggested. Okay, thank you, Grandpa. Mu Qiqi made an okay gesture at the old man. Things went smoothly, and Mu Qiqi felt very happy. Sometimes, a person's feelings could not be completely based on blood. She also deeply believed that as long as she was in any danger, Feng Shanshan would be able to run ahead. Late at night, Mu Qiqi called Feng Shanshan. When you have time, let's go to the Shen family for dinner. My dad will share half with you. Aren't you afraid that I'll be greedy and take over the nest? Chapter 826. Mu Qiqi's words were almost decisive. You won't. Feng Shanshan didn't know where this person's confidence came from, but she really wouldn't. What do you mean, Captain Tang? Feng Shanshan turned to look at Tang Yin and asked, Do you think I'm trying to climb up to the Shen family? What you want is the warmth of a family, not those complicated things. So there's no such thing as climbing up or not. I believe that the Shen family won't think that way of you. The old chief is a noble person, and the Shen family won't be any worse. You're not polite at all. Tang Yin reached out to hug her, and placed his chin on her shoulder. If someone helps me love and protect you, of course, I won't stand on ceremony. Similarly, I will also do my best to be filial to them with you. Is it because you're going to be a father? Captain Tang, who was silent and not good with words before, is suddenly so talkative. You've also made a lot of changes for me and our child, Tang Yin said seriously. Then he kissed Feng Shanshan's forehead. In the past, Feng Shanshan was so free and unrestrained. She could play with men and move as she pleased. She was very free mentally, but after being with him, she was bound by many restrictions, especially now that she was pregnant. She had freedom of movement, and was restricted everywhere. She stayed at home obediently every day, and she was even afraid of danger, so she rarely took the initiative to say that she wanted to go out for a walk. Of course, his heart ached for her. Mu Qiqi is really hard to refuse. Then don't refuse. She won't hurt you. Tang Yin firmly believed this. Okay. The two of them hugged each other intimately. Feng Shanshan was satisfied. However, her appearance had disrupted the peace of the Feng family, especially when Papa Feng had given her such a large sum of money. This made the other members of the Feng family feel very upset, especially Papa Feng's current wife. All these years, Papa Feng had thought of looking for Feng Shanshan, but his family had always used all sorts of reasons to stop him. It was fine if he didn't see her in the past. It wasn't a big deal. At most, he wouldn't see her for the rest of his life. However, when Feng Shanshan really stood in front of this group of people, they realized that Feng Shanshan was also one of Papa Feng's heirs. This sense of crisis made the Feng family go crazy. However, that was an existence that could not be erased. What could they do? Or was it to warn her in advance that she would not have a share in the Feng family? 3 days later, Feng Shanshan asked Tang Yin to buy some gifts. Since they were going to the Shen family for dinner, they couldn't go empty-handed. That would be rude. The Shen family was not a family that she could climb up to, but she had dreamed of having such a family. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Feng Shanshan and Tang Yin arrived at the entrance of the Shen family on time. Although Tang Yin was dressed casually, one could still see the shadow of calmness and justice in him. He was born to be a police officer. His fists and temperament said it all. Huang Yu and Mu Qiqi went out to welcome them. When they saw them, they smiled innocently. I say, girl, why do you like her so much? She really does look a little like you. People would even believe it if you said you two were sisters. Huang Yu looked at Feng Shanshan and praised her. Second aunt, you are exaggerating. Mu Qiqi smiled and reached out to help Feng Shanshan up. She introduced, this is second aunt. She is straightforward and magnanimous. Just call me second aunt like Xiaoqi. Huang Yu appeared easygoing. Tang Yin watched the women enter the Shen family's door first. Although they were holding heavy gifts in their hands, They were willing to do so. It was just a small family banquet, so there were only a few members of the Shen family present. Mu Qiqi did not want to make Feng Shanshan nervous, so she arranged for her to stay by her side. Why did you bring a gift when you came? Old Master Shen had seen the orchid a long time ago. It was cultivated by Professor Tang, but Tang Yin used it to present it to Buddha, because he heard from Mu Qiqi that Old Master Shen liked flowers. Oh, is this a lotus petal orchid? Old Master Shen's eyes widened. This thing was expensive. It's so expensive. How would I dare to accept it? Old Master Shen, the value of an orchid lies in its meaning, not in its value. The orchid valley is empty and stands aloof from worldly affairs. It is very suitable for you. Then tell me, how did you get this thing? Old Master Shen was worried that the young man would go astray. Tang Yin smiled faintly and explained, my uncle likes to cultivate it. Don't worry, Old Master Shen. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan stood at the side, stunned by the man's words. In the past he looked like a blockhead. No matter how they looked at him, he looked dull. In the end, it was not that he did not know the ways of the world. Kid, you're quite famous in the police station. You're on the same side as old Sheng. I like it. Don't stand on ceremony. Just treat it as your own home. Come here often for a meal in the future. But next time, just come empty-handed. It was obvious that Old Master Shen was very happy. Then, Tang Yin sat down beside Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan poked his arm. So the professor knows how to do these things. What professor? He's also your uncle. Tang Yin corrected her patiently. Feng Shanshan laughed silently. Her heart was very warm, because she knew that this man was doing this for her. 3 days ago, she had been humiliated at the Feng family. He did not want Feng Shanshan to experience it again, even though the Feng family was not qualified to be compared to the Shen family. Then, Shen Jianchuan walked out and glanced at his daughter. He also glanced at his goddaughter, who was about to be recognized. One was painful, and so were the two. You all know about what happened between Xiaoqi and Mu Tongxue. Although they are biological sisters, there are many grudges between them. I selfishly hope that Xiaoqi can still have a sister to make up for the regret in her heart. So from now on, both of you are my daughters. After saying that, Shen Jianchuan gave Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan a brocade box each. Of course, there's also a godson-in-law. However, the godson-in-law's was a red packet. Mu Qiqi looked at him eagerly. Her man had not even come over yet, and she was already at a disadvantage? Dad, I didn't forget about your family. Shen Jianchuan gave her another red packet. I hope that both of you will be happy. Feng Shanshan and Tang Yin looked at each other. They stood up from their seats with teacups and walked to Shen Jianchuan. Godfather, we'll use tea instead of wine. We also hope that you can be healthy. Be good. Shen Jianchuan said to the two of them calmly. Go and sit down. We'll be a family from now on. Anyway, we'll be living close to each other. In the future, you guys can come over often. Isn't Shanshan pregnant? If it's inconvenient for you to go on a mission, you can let her come over and stay for a while. The Shen family was really nice and warm. Feng Shanshan was not an unsatisfied person. Of course, she would not really disturb them often. Chapter 827. Sheng Xiao entered the Shen family's house at 8:30 p.m. When he saw the little one in high spirits in the crowd, he threw away his fatigue and walked to his family. Sheng Xiao is back. Huang Yu beamed. Grandpa, Dad, second uncle, second aunt. Sheng Xiao greeted them one by one and nodded at Tang Yin. These two seem to be born to be brothers. This is for you. Mu Qiqi handed the red packet to Sheng Xiao, as if she was presenting a treasure. Silly. Sheng Xiao took the red packet and put it in the pocket of his suit. Sheng Xiao, I want to see you and Tang Yin compete. Shen Jianchuan observed his two sons-in-law for a long time. He felt that they were both dragons and phoenixes among men. It would be more interesting to compete. What does Dad want us to compete in? One of them was a business genius, and the other was a boxing champion. One was a scholar, and the other was a martial artist. They did not seem to have much in common, but that was not the case. Both of them were equally smart. If it's a fight, Sheng Xiao is definitely no match for him. Huang Yu immediately laughed. He's the national champion. His skills must be very good. Second aunt, everyone has their own strengths. Mu Chichi quickly protected her. It's not fair to compete like this. I know. You're the only one who knows how to protect your own. Huang Yu could not help but laugh. Why should I let these two men compete? They have nothing in common. It's better for me to compete with Feng Shanshan, Mu Chichi said with interest. Anyway, both of us are studying forensic medicine. I've attended a few more classes than you, so I'll let you compete with Tang Yen. Otherwise, people will say that I'm bullying a pregnant woman. How do you want to compete? It's very simple. There are many apps for solving cases now. The most famous one is called Genius Forensic Medicine. There are many cases in it. We'll randomly pick one and see who can find the cause of death and the murderer of the victim first. Mu Chichi took out her phone and showed it to Feng Shanshan. Tang Yan's eyes are so sharp. I definitely won't bully you. You can also ask your CEO for help. When everyone heard that, they felt that it was quite interesting. In the past, Old Master Shun had opposed Mu Chichi learning forensic medicine. Now that they could see this girl's ability with their own eyes, it was very refreshing. Then hurry up and choose a topic. I want to see it too. Mu Chichi and Shen Jianchuan downloaded the app. Then, Mu Chichi handed the phone to Shen Jianchuan. Dad, for the sake of fairness, you can choose the questions. Shen Jianchuan took the phone and went closer to Old Master Shen to choose. This one. Shen Jianchuan chose the question and passed the phone to Mu Chichi. The title is Prison Mystery. Feng Shanshan also found the prison mystery and opened it. Then the page entered a bare prison cell. The person had died next to the iron door, curled up in a C shape on the ground. There was nothing in the cell except for a bare iron bed. The floor was damp, and the walls were scratched by fingernails. Other than that, there were some words at the bottom of the picture. There's a strong smell of mold and rust. When the old man saw this, he was confused. You can solve the case with this? There's nothing. He probably died of sudden death or illness. Grandpa, can you take a closer look? Mu Chichi reminded him with a smile. The old man looked at it for a long time. No one could enter such a sealed cell, and he could not get out either. Grandpa, we have to rule out sudden death first. Look at the fingernail scratches on the wall. They're all fresh. There's a lot of sand in the gaps of the deceased's fingernails. This means that he was in pain before he died, and it lasted for a long time. He didn't die of sudden death, Mu Chichi answered. He didn't die of illness either. There's no medicine in the room, and this person is strong. He shouldn't have any chronic diseases, Feng Shanshan added. Fine, just tell this old man how this person died. Old Master Shen had been in the military all his life, and he had never thought that forensic doctors were anything special. However, looking at the two little girls solving the case, he suddenly felt that not everyone could be a forensic doctor. Feng Shanshan and Mu Chichi looked at each other and carefully observed the body. Then they said in unison, he was poisoned to death. How did you come to that conclusion? The room is sealed, and there are no signs of damage around. The ground is very wet, and there are no other footprints. This means that no one has come in. The head of the body is facing down, and we can't see the face. But from his exposed skin, there's pigmentation. That's a typical sign of iron poisoning. Mu Chichi explained unhurriedly. Then, Feng Shanshan added, ferrous sulfate can be used in medicine to treat anemia. But if it's taken for a long time, or if the medicine is overdosed, the iron will settle on the skin and organs. It will damage the respiratory tract, liver and lungs. The most serious consequence is, of course, death. There's also a reminder on this question that there's a smell of rust in the room. Ferrous sulfate appears in different states in different environments. It can melt water, oxidize, and is poisonous. That's why we concluded that he was poisoned to death. Grandpa Shen nodded and suddenly understood. Of course, this is just our speculation. In fact, as long as we dissect the body, we'll get the answer very soon. After listening to the two of them, Tang Yin clicked on the answer to the question. It was indeed ferrous sulfate poisoning. When Grandpa Shen saw the answer, he couldn't help but applaud the two of them. I used to underestimate the profession of forensic doctors. The two of you have made me look at it in a new light. Very interesting. Huang Yu was stunned when she heard that. She immediately felt that the two little girls were very impressive. Then it's a draw, the old man said. Both of you are very good. Very good. Tang Yin hugged Feng Shanshan. This woman had let go of it for a long time, but she could still remember it so clearly. It could be seen that she was really suitable and really liked it. However, she had to let go of it to give birth to his child. He felt extremely guilty. Mu Qiqi leaned into Sheng Xiao's arms. In fact, this was the first time Sheng Xiao looked at this thing directly. The case in front of him really had the posture of a forensic doctor. It was gratifying. Mu Qiqi saw that Sheng Xiao did not say a word, so she moved closer to him and smiled. Why? Are you charmed by me? We'll talk when we get back. Sheng Xiao hugged her and said. An old man's heart was completely beating for her. Mu Qiqi understood and knew that there was a hidden meaning in his words. I'm happy tonight. I'll play with CEO Sheng. The family was happy. This was a liveliness that Feng Shanshan and Tang Yin had never experienced before. The two of them used to be alone and always felt that they were free. But now that they were in the Shen family, they finally understood what true family happiness meant. They were old and young, and the family was neat and tidy. When your child is born in the future, it will be even livelier. Chapter 828. That night, Feng Shanshan and Papa Feng stayed in the Shen family until late at night. Anyway, it was a 10-minute journey. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the two of them went home hand in hand. However, when they arrived at the door, Feng Shanshan saw a black car. Then, the two of them saw Papa Feng get out of the car. Feng Shanshan's smile gradually disappeared, even though she knew that she was the one who disturbed the peace of the Feng family first. Shanshan. What's the matter? Feng Shanshan was not even willing to call him father. She tried her best to ask calmly. Aren't you going to invite me in? Papa Feng stood in the darkness, his expression unreadable. Feng Shanshan turned to look at Tang Yin. Seeing Tang Yin nod, she agreed. Come in. Tang Yin took out the key, and Papa Feng followed behind the two of them. How did you know I lived here? Feng Shanshan asked despite knowing the answer. After settling Papa Feng down, she made him a pot of tea. I got someone to check, because I wanted to know about your recent situation. Why aren't you studying anymore? You were doing fine in Shengting. Feng Shanshan patted her abdomen and answered calmly. Because I'm pregnant. Only then was Papa Feng willing to examine Tang Yin. You're a police officer, aren't you? Tang Yin nodded. He did not know what to say, because he did not know why Papa Feng was here. I know that your job is very dangerous, so I still want to bring Shanshan home. It's easier to take care of her, Papa Feng said. Otherwise, when you're out on a mission, I won't be at ease if she's alone at home. Tell me your real purpose for coming here. Feng Shanshan did not believe him at all. He had not cared about his daughter for more than 10 years. And now he said he wanted to bring her home? Was his fatherly love suddenly overflowing? Shanshan, I'm concerned about you. Tang Yin and I are married. Of course, I want to live with my husband. Moreover, you gave me quite a lot of money. I can hire a responsible nanny. You don't have to worry about my daily life. If you still feel guilty, you can give me more money. Anyway, the Feng family thinks that I came to you because of this. Shanshan. I don't think so. The man tried his best to explain. I heard that you dropped out of school because of this man. Quitting school is my own business. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Mr. Feng, you should go back. I'm sorry for disturbing your family, but I have gotten my money, and I have achieved my goal. The money is enough for me to live on. I will not disturb your family anymore. Feng Shanshan's tone became cold. Feng Shanshan's voice became cold. Shanshan, I just think that you can have a more stable life. Papa Feng looked very anxious and sincere. However, Feng Shanshan knew very well what his motive was. I like my current life very much. Mr. Feng, please go back or... Feng Shanshan took out the check from her purse. I'll return it to you now. Just pretend that I never went to the Hanwen group before. Papa Feng did not reach out. He just said helplessly, You'll regret it in the future. I regret it. I regret why I went to find you that day. Papa Feng looked disappointed. In the end, he left their house without drinking a single sip of tea. At that moment, Feng Shanshan poured out the tea in the teapot. Tang Yin knew that she was doing it for him, so he hugged her and comforted her. Don't be so angry. Your father is right. In this world, I'm the only one who can criticize you. No one else can. Moreover, I'm familiar with his tricks. For so many years, he never came looking for me. Suddenly, he came to me to express his concern, because the person next to him whispered something to him. Because I'm a threat to their status and inheritance. Rather than leaving me outside, he might as well bring me back to deal with me. Also, they know that with you by my side, I won't be easily bullied. So they must have said a lot of bad things about you in that man's ear. I really regret it. Tang Yin did not know how to comfort her, so he hugged her and kissed her. This trick was very useful to Feng Shanshan. After the kiss, most of her anger dissipated. Even if you're just a poor police officer, I'm willing. That's why you're stupid. After saying that, Tang Yin went to the bathroom in a flash. Feng Shanshan immediately laughed when she saw this. She couldn't stand it now. There were still 7 to 8 months to go. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. Mu Qiqi took out the red packet that Xin Jianchuan had given Sheng Xiao. She wanted to know what was inside. Sheng Xiao snatched it away and did not let her see it. Dad gave this to me. I'm just taking a look. Why are you so stingy? Mu Qiqi shifted her gaze away from the red packet. You said that I'm the biological daughter of the Sheng family. You also enjoy high treatment in the Shen family. Your wish has been fulfilled. Aren't you happy? Sheng Xiao put away the red packet and returned to the bed. After hearing what Feng Shanshan said about the Feng family that day, I don't think the Feng family will let her off so easily. She has acknowledged Dad as her godfather. At least the Feng family will take the Shen family's identity into consideration. Mu Qiqi had this concern. I think her father isn't a good person either. Sheng Xiao did not actually say that Feng Shanshan and Xin Jianchuan's problems were still to come. Cheng Bin would have a hard time. A week passed, and it was time for the prenatal checkup. Because of Dr. Song's instructions, Feng Shanshan went to the hospital more frequently. Because of this, Feng Shanshan and Song Qiaoji gradually became familiar with each other. She was always gentle and easygoing, and her medical skills were superb. Feng Shanshan gradually gained a sense of trust in her. It seems that you're really self-disciplined. All aspects of your indicators are very standard. You're really an obedient pregnant woman. Song Qiaoji praised her. I just want to give birth to the healthiest baby. No problem. Song Qiaoji comforted her with a smile. Maintain your emotions. After Feng Shanshan finished her prenatal checkup, she returned home safe and sound. In fact, ever since Feng Shanshan looked for Song Qiaoji to read the report, Cheng Bin had been following her at the hospital several times, because he felt that the time was ripe. Feng Shanshan already trusted Song Qiaoji a lot, but Song Qiaoji did not let him do it. Cheng Bin was about to lose his patience, but he was stopped by Song Qiaoji. Every time Feng Shanshan comes for a prenatal checkup, there will be someone to protect her. Of all times, you've chosen to take advantage of her prenatal checkup. Do you think Tang Yan's brain is just for show? Then when do you say, I know what I'm doing? You just have to wait for my notice. Song Qiaoji warned Cheng Bin sternly. Don't act on your own. Otherwise, I'll tell Feng Shanshan immediately. Although Cheng Bin was extremely unconvinced, it was indeed the easiest to start from Song Qiaoji. All you think about is revenge, but Feng Shanshan's 2 lives are very innocent. Who asked her to be Tang Yan's woman? Cheng Bin sneered. Moreover, that woman of his isn't a good person either. She had ruined his brother's reputation in school. He was not innocent at all. Chapter 829. 2 days later, the case of Sheng Bowen's escape was heard in court. As Sheng Bowen's defense lawyer, the Sheng family's lawyer collected a lot of evidence to prove that Sheng Bowen did not know anything after he hit Xiao Jiyu that day. The court listened to the suggestions of both sides' lawyers, and with the forgiveness and pleading of Xiao Jiyu's family, the court finally ruled that Sheng Bowen's escape was not established. However, he had to fulfill his due responsibility for compensation. The matter dragged on for more than a month before it was finally resolved. Sheng Bowen was relaxed. The first thing he did after the announcement was to visit Xiao Jiayu in the hospital. Xiao Jiayu was recovering well, and the hospital was also doing their best to find a suitable bone marrow match for her. Grandpa Meng was very reasonable. Every time he saw Sheng Bowen, he would hold his hand and thank him countless times. But even so, Sheng Bowen still felt guilty, especially when he saw the little girl's innocent eyes, so bright and heartwarming. Uncle, Grandpa said that you're a good person. Xiao Jiayu sat on the bed and hugged the toys Sheng Bowen brought. If I were a good person, I wouldn't have bumped into you and run away. Sheng Bowen did not hide what he had done to Xiao Jiayu. Grandpa said that Uncle was framed. Jiayu doesn't blame Uncle. Xiao Jiayu answered Sheng Bowen softly. You're so good. You're so sensible at such a young age. Sheng Bowen patted Xiao Jiyu's head with a heartache. When he left, he gave the old man another card. But Grandpa Meng did not accept it. I can't do that, Mr. Sheng. You've helped us enough. I really can't take any more. Grandpa Meng, Jiayu's treatment still costs a lot of money. Your family still has to live, so don't be polite with me. At most, when Jiayu grows up, she can come to Huangyao to work and repay me. When Grandpa Meng heard this, his eyes lit up because what Sheng Bowen said was indeed a path. If Jiayu could live to that day, he would definitely let her repay her benefactor. Then thank you, old man. You're really a good person. Jiayu is so lovable. I also hope that she will be healthy and happy. In the future, there will be people who will contact you about Jiayu's study and life. Grandpa Meng, take good care of your health. When I have time, I'll visit the little girl. Grandpa Meng wiped his tears, which made people feel bitter. However, although the old man was poor, he was simple and kind, and he knew how to be grateful. Especially when he saw Sheng Bowen leave, he sat by the bed and educated Xiao Jiayu. In the future, when you grow up, you must find Uncle and work for him for the rest of your life to repay his kindness. Grandpa, I do. Although Xiao Jiayu didn't know what a job was, or how long a lifetime was, she remembered this uncle in her heart, and would never forget him. As a result, Xiao Jiyu's matter came to an end. It had to be said that Jin Bo had spent a lot of effort, but he did not get anything. He even lost Xinyu. Sheng Xiao was as hard to deal with as the rumors said. However, there was still a long way to go. There were still several years to slowly grind away. On the night that he was acquitted, Sheng Bowen brought Ren Yufei to the Banyan courtyard to have dinner with Sheng Xiao's family. He knew that it was all thanks to Sheng Xiao that he was safe and sound this time. Eighth brother, let me toast you. My life is yours from now on. Sheng Xiao did not budge at all. I was the one who saved her. In the end, I still have to take over Huang Yao. This fully shows what it means to be able to do more work. Sheng Bowen did not think much of it and still smiled. With you around, I can take Yufei and focus on going abroad. You're going abroad? Mu Chichi stopped peeling the shrimp and looked at Sheng Bowen. I want to learn something. And so does Yufei. So we plan to go abroad for a period of time. Do you want to completely let go? Mu Chichi's face immediately darkened. You guys are going to have fun, leaving my master Xiao to work himself to death. If I had known, I wouldn't have saved you. Huang Yao is a waste in my hands, Sheng Bowen said seriously. Look, in eighth brother's hands, in 5 years, it will be the #1 diamond empire in Asia. Mu Chichi and Sheng Xiao changed positions and faced Sheng Bowen from the side. This was to prevent this person from taking advantage of her again. Sheng Xiao knew that she felt sorry for him, so he quietly pinched Mu Chichi's neck with his right hand to comfort her. Sheng Bowen rubbed his nose and felt that he had gone a little overboard. Before he finished eating, he had already pulled Ren Yufei away from the Banyan courtyard. He ran away quickly. Mu Chichi was angry. She had thought that Sheng Bowen would be aware of it after this matter was settled. Who knew that he was really going to let go of it? After so many years, Huang Yao has its own system and regulations. Moreover, with Zhongting's team, I don't need to put in much effort. You don't need to put in much effort to come home an hour late every day. Mu Chichi snorted. Forget it, third brother is an ingrate. Didn't you say that you wanted me to take care of it? Huh? Have you forgotten? Mu Chichi turned around and looked at Sheng Xiao. She replied very seriously. I was just saying. I thought that when third brother came back, the position of CEO would still be his. Sheng Xiao saw that she was angry, so he leaned over and kissed her lips. Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment and did not say anything. He used this trick every time. Forget it. It's good to go far away. Mu Qiqi sighed. After all, there was an unknown boss behind him who was eyeing the Shun and Sheng families covetously. With his IQ, he can't even protect himself. Mu Qiqi expressed her disdain. Late at night, at the Tang family's home. Ever since Papa Feng left that day, the Feng family had never appeared in front of Feng Shanshan again. She and Tang Yin had thought that the Feng family had stopped and forgotten about her appearance. However, Feng Wen's appearance once again put Feng Shanshan in an awkward situation. Tang Yin was still at the branch office. When Feng Shanshan heard the doorbell, she thought it was her husband, because Tang Yin did not bring his keys. However, when she opened the door and saw Feng Wen, the smile on her face disappeared. What? Aren't you going to invite me in? Feng Wen was 3 years older than Feng Shanshan. She liked to wear heavy makeup and had a unique personality. Moreover, she was holding a lady's cigarette in her hand. I can't have the smell of cigarettes in my house. Feng Shanshan rejected her clearly. Besides, I made it very clear at the company that day. I know you're pregnant, so you want to go back to the Feng family to fight for a place for the child. It's not that I'm unwilling to fulfill your wish. After all, your father's biological daughter, so let's be frank. You can go back to the Feng family, but you have to give up your inheritance rights. Feng Wen did not force Feng Shanshan to let her enter the house. She did not care either. She was only here to make her position clear. Chapter 830. You suddenly found out that your father is so rich, and you're alone outside. You even married a poor police officer. Do you think I'd believe you? Feng Wen laughed mockingly. All these years, we've all done our best for Hanwen. Now you're an outsider, but you want a share of the pie. If it were you, what would you do? Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. She regretted it 1,000 times. She really shouldn't have appeared in front of the Feng family. I can't explain it to you. Go back. Feng Shanshan didn't want to be in a deadlock with Feng Wen. However, Feng Wen grabbed her wrist. Don't be in a hurry to go in before I make it clear. I'm pregnant. So what if you're pregnant? Don't you just want to rely on your belly to fight for more benefits in front of Dad? Not only did Feng Wen not let go of Feng Shanshan, she even pulled her in front of her. What's so great about having the child of a lousy police officer? Feng Shanshan staggered and almost fell. Don't act pitiful in front of me. After Feng Shanshan steadied herself, she still had lingering fear. Just as she was about to hit her, Mu Qiqi was one step ahead of her. She grabbed Feng Wen's wrist from behind and slapped her. Are you still human? You even bully pregnant women. Feng Wen was stunned. She didn't expect Feng Shanshan to have a helper. Moreover, she was so strong. After pausing for 2 seconds, she suddenly wanted to fight back, but she was pressed against the wall by Mu Qiqi. She couldn't move at all. In the end, Mu Qiqi didn't train for nothing. Feng Shanshan, what's going on? She received Captain Tang's call and immediately rushed over. She didn't even have time to ask why. It's nothing. It's just the Feng family. Feng Shanshan glanced at Feng Wen and answered. Now that she thought about it, she was still afraid. The Feng family came here to cause trouble? They thought I wanted to share their property. Feng Shanshan explained weakly. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she loosened her grip and stood in front of Feng Shanshan. She doesn't care about your Feng family's money, so don't come again. Feng Wen covered her wrist that was red from Mu Qiqi's grip and looked at Feng Shanshan with resentment. Feng Shanshan, you hired a lot of people to help you put on an act. Mu Qiqi's spoiled temper almost made her want to hit her again, but she was stopped by Feng Shanshan. For my sake, there's no need for that. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and calmed down. She looked at Feng Wen and said, I'm advising you nicely now. The Feng family shouldn't push their luck, and don't come to this place again. She's really not interested in your Feng family's things. If I see her again, I don't know what I'll do. What right do you have to interfere in the affairs of our Feng family? Feng Wen stood on the steps, the resentment and anger in her heart unabated. Her business is my business. If you really want to find someone to fight, come find me. My house is at 135 Banyan Courtyard. I'm waiting for you anytime. In the dark, Feng Wen did not look at Muqiqi carefully, but she really remembered number 135. Just you wait. I'm not going to sleep. I'm just waiting for you. After saying that, Muqiqi pulled Feng Shanshan into the house. You opened the door just because someone knocked? If Captain Tang hadn't installed surveillance cameras at home and informed me when he saw it, what would you have done? Tang Yin didn't bring his keys. I thought. In the future, no matter who it is, even if Captain Tang knocks on the door, you have to ask first. Muqiqi helped her sit on the sofa. Are you okay? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup? There's no need for that. Feng Shanshan shook her head. I'm just a little annoyed. They might come looking for trouble endlessly in the future. It's also my fault. I encouraged you to look for your family. It's not your fault. After all, you didn't know that that family was such a thing. Feng Shanshan shook her head at Muqiqi. This matter has to be resolved properly. You're pregnant now. You can't always be angry at this family. Muqiqi thought about finding a way for Feng Shanshan once and for all. Alright, I'm fine now. You can go back. Your CEO will come over later. Feng Shanshan urged Muqiqi. In fact, she was afraid that Muqiqi would be implicated, although she had never been afraid of being implicated. I'll leave when Captain Tang comes back. Muqiqi sat on the sofa and quickly fell into deep thought. Perhaps because he was worried about Feng Shanshan's safety, Tang Yin arrived home an hour later. When he entered and saw the two girls, Tang Yan's nervous expression became obvious. Are you all right? Feng Shanshan stood up and shook her head. Chi-Chi came just in time. Nonsense. I ran all the way here. Muqiqi rolled her eyes. Since Captain Tang is back, I'll go back. You can't just open the door for everyone in the future. Remember? Got it. Don't be long-winded. Feng Shanshan quickly stopped Muqiqi. Otherwise, she could talk about this for a year. Do you want me to send you back? Tang Yin asked Muqiqi. No need. Master Xiao is on the way. Muqiqi quickly waved her hand. It was only a 10-minute walk. There was no need to send her back and forth. Actually, Tang Yin was afraid that Feng Wen would come back and cause trouble. However, Muqiqi had already left her house number. She was waiting for Feng Wen to come to her house. After Muqiqi left, Tang Yin hugged Feng Shanshan with lingering fear. Xiaoqi is right. Don't open the door so casually in the future. I've already learned my lesson, Feng Shanshan said seriously. I'm just afraid that there will be no end to it in the future. Tang Yan's eyes were immediately stained with a trace of black. If there was a next time, he would not let it go just like that. Even if it was this woman's family, he would not show mercy. The reason why the Feng family would not stop was because they knew that Tang Yan was just a lousy police officer. He had no power or influence. This was also the reason why they kept testing Feng Shanshan. If she had married a rich man, the Feng family would not have been worried that she would come back to snatch their things. However, she had married a poor man. Of course, the Feng family did not know about Tang Yan's relationship with the Shen family and Muqiqi. If they knew, would they still dare to be so rash? After returning home, Muqiqi sat on Sheng Zhao's lap. I'm so angry. Sheng Zhao glanced at her and did not say anything. He focused on the information in his hand. Xiao, the Feng family will still come looking for trouble. Muqiqi shook Sheng Zhao's neck. Help me think of a way. What's your purpose in asking Feng Shanshan to acknowledge your father as her godfather? Sheng Zhao was helpless against her shaking. He could only sigh and ask her. That's true. Then I'll find an opportunity to let them know that the goddaughter of the Shen family is not to be trifled with. I'll let the Feng family learn a lesson. At the mention of Cheng Bin, Sheng Zhao's eyes were dyed with a different color. This person was probably not so easily intimidated. However, that might not be the case. Chapter 831. After Feng Wen left the Tang family, she actually went to find someone to settle the score with Muqiqi. However, when she led the four men in black to room 135, they were stopped outside the villa. Miss, visitors need to register. May I ask which family are you from? Number 135. Feng Wen deliberately lowered her head and said in a low voice, "Then you need to show me your ID." The security guard immediately reached out and asked Feng Wen for her ID, but Feng Wen dodged him. Seeing that Feng Wen wasn't cooperating, the security guard explained, "I'm sorry, Mississippi. You can't enter that area. Even if you don't show your ID now, you will still have to register after you go up, because there are sentries on duty." "Are you purposely picking on me? My sister is in that villa down there, so I came over." "Miss, the area below is a low-end villa district, while the area above is a high-end villa district. There's a difference. If you can't provide your identification, we won't let you in. The people living in that area are all big shots. We can't afford to offend them." A big shot. Feng Wen heard these 3 words. Number 135. What kind of big shot lives there? The CEO of Enchanting is not a big shot? Mayor Shen's niece was not a big shot? "Miss, are you here to make trouble?" Feng Wen was deliberately trying to get information out of her. Don't blame her for not knowing who Mu Qiqi was. She rarely read gossip, and only knew how to work all day. "That's enough, Mississippi. Please go back." Of course, Feng Wen couldn't teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. At the same time, she had a question in her heart. How could a person like Feng Shanshan know such a big shot? What number 135? Maybe it was just a facade that the girl had made up to make her feel fearful. However, Feng Wen was not the kind of person who believed in heresy. The security guard saw that Feng Wen was behaving strangely and had brought a few men with her. So he immediately called Mama Sheng. After Mama Sheng heard that, she went upstairs and asked Mu Qiqi. "Cheer," the security guard at the door called. "There's a woman in a brown trench coat coming to our house with 4 men. Do you know them?" "Mommy, I don't know him," Mu Qiqi blurted out. But after 2 seconds, she realized what she meant. "Mommy, I know who it is." If she guessed correctly, it was Feng Wen. He wanted to take revenge on her for that slap. But he didn't expect that he couldn't even enter the villa. Did she think that the Banyan courtyard was so easy to get into? It was also because of Feng Wen's actions that Mu Qiqi knew that the Feng family would definitely not let Feng Shanshan go. She had to think of a way to make the Feng family completely give up on Feng Shanshan. After Feng Wen returned home, she was pulled aside by her mother and asked, "Did you cause trouble for Feng Shanshan?" "I didn't manage to gain any advantage. That bitch is too calculative. She's surrounded by inferior helpers." Whenever Feng Wen thought about how she had been slapped, she would feel very unhappy. She had actually been slapped by someone like Feng Shanshan. Don't look for trouble with her in the future. If your father finds out, there won't be any benefits, Mama Feng advised. However, their conversation was overheard by the servants at home and eventually reached Papa Feng's ears. When Papa Feng returned home, he flew into a rage. "Shanshan, no matter what, she's your sister. Do you have the cheek to cause trouble for a pregnant woman?" "Dad, I just wanted to persuade her to go home. I didn't cause trouble for her." After Papa Feng heard this, his expression softened, but he didn't fall for it. "I know very well what you're thinking. Feng Wen, you won't be that kind." Feng Wen opened her mouth and wanted to explain, but Papa Feng wouldn't believe her. "In 2 days I'll bring Shanshan out for dinner. Apologize to her in person." Feng Wen looked at Papa Feng in disbelief. She felt wronged. "Dad, for an outsider? She's not an outsider. She's your sister." Papa Feng lost his temper. "If you don't want to apologize, then leave this house. Anyway, I still have a son." Feng Wen was so angry that she locked herself in her room. When Mama Feng saw this, she sighed. She had clearly agreed to get Feng Shanshan back home before dealing with her. She was right under her nose, and she was pregnant. It was better to deal with her outside. But this child couldn't hold back. Then, Mama Feng walked up to her husband and said to him, "Feng Wen is just feeling sorry for you. Her daughter is filial. However, since you want Shanshan to go home, you have to apologize. I'll make arrangements to invite Shanshan over. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Feng Wen this time, and let her get along well with her sister." Papa Feng nodded in satisfaction. "Then give me Shanshan's phone number." The next morning, Feng Shanshan received a call from Mama Feng. Feng Shanshan had no desire to speak at all. She wanted to hang up, but she was stopped by the other party. "Shanshan, Auntie sincerely wants to treat you to a meal. Your father will go too. He'll ask your sister to apologize to you properly. There's no need. As long as you don't disturb me, it'll be the greatest apology you can give me. Shan, if you don't agree to Auntie's request, your father will think that Auntie isn't doing her job well. In the end, she still has to go to your house to bother you. Tell me, why do you have to do this? Feng Shan could tell that the other party was threatening her. Even so, she still didn't want to see the Feng family. There's really no need. Mama Feng was rebuffed, but she wasn't angry because she had called Feng Shan in front of Papa Feng. It was this girl who didn't know what was good for her. Papa Feng was silent for a while before he finally said, I'll go to Shan's house again tonight. Perhaps in Papa Feng's heart, he still remembered that he had such a daughter, and that she was suffering outside. Mama Feng and Feng Wen, on the other hand, were planning to deal with the situation nearby. The whole family had their own thoughts, but none of them had any good intentions. After Feng Shan hung up on Mama Feng, she called Mu Qiqi again. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she smiled. What a good opportunity. I was still thinking about how to set up a trap. Now I've saved my energy. What do you want to do? Of course, let the Feng family know that you don't like their things at all. Agree to them. Don't implicate Godfather and second Uncle Shun. I don't want to use their name to cause trouble outside. Feng Shan said to Mu Qiqi seriously. You're not allowed to mess around either. Am I the kind of person who messes around? Mu Qiqi chuckled and instructed her. Go for the prenatal checkup properly. Don't think about anything else. If your father asks you to go for a meal, go. Just send me the address and time later. Don't be afraid of anything, understand? Why are you so good to me? Chapter 832. Besides, there's no need to bring Dad and second uncle out to deal with the Feng family. Master Xiao and I will be enough. After saying that, Mu Qiqi hung up. Then, Feng Shan returned Mama Feng's call and agreed to eat. She really did not want to see Papa Feng appear at her doorstep again. Then I'll book a seat and send you the time and address. Feng Shan nodded indifferently. A moment later, a new policewoman from the station arrived. Hello, sister-in-law. My surname is Xing. You can call me Xiao Xing. Boss can't leave, so he asked me to accompany you to the prenatal checkup. Actually, I can go alone. Feng Shan was a little embarrassed. After all, she felt bad for always mobilizing so many people. The girl called Xiao Xing shook her head like a rattle drum. Boss said that I have to follow you even when you go to the toilet to ensure your safety. If I can't even do this task well, then I'll go home and eat by myself. Then I'll have to trouble you. Feng Shan thanked her and went back to her room to get her bag. Then, she went to the hospital with Xiao Xing. Song Qiaoji saw that Feng Shan was always accompanied by people, so she smiled. It's a little girl today. Dr. Song, please excuse me. My husband is worried about my safety, so he's troubling Xiao Xing. He's doting on you. Look at the hospital. How many pregnant women come to the prenatal checkup on their own? He's a good man. Song Qiaoji looked at the checkup report while touching Feng Shan's slightly protruding abdomen. I'll say it again. Pay attention to your mood. It's not good to be depressed. I'll pay attention. In a few days, I'll have a lecture at the medical university. If you have time, come and listen. It's good for pregnant women. Of course, it would be even better if the child's father can attend. Song Qiaoji handed the flyer to Feng Shan. Thank you, Dr. Song. I'll definitely go when I have time. You're welcome. Song Qiaoji did not show any abnormalities, but she had already started to invite Feng Shan. In other words, she did not know which event in the future, Feng Shan, might be schemed against. That evening, Mu Qiqi received the hotel address and meal time from Feng Shan. After putting away the phone, Mu Qiqi's eyes lit up with excitement. Xiao, let's go to Jinrong Manor for dinner tomorrow night. I heard that they advocate vegetarianism and are very popular recently. I haven't been there yet. Sheng Xiao snorted softly and said nothing. Was his objection useful? Moreover, this thing had never been a vegetarian. It only liked to eat meat. It's fine this time. But do you think you can protect her forever? If I can protect him once, I will. Mu Qiqi sat on Sheng Xiao's lap and shook his shoulders. I only have these two friends. With you by my side, I don't lack anything, and I won't be in danger. So, I can only do more for my friends. She's pregnant. You can't expect me to sit back and do nothing, right? Sheng Xiao reached out and hugged Mu Qiqi. Love was always above feelings, no matter what kind of feeling it was. I'll get Su Che to book a table. Thank you, Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao frowned. He was only 30 years old, and he was already at the stage where he had to be called a master? Then he pulled Mu Qiqi over. You want to leave after taking advantage of me? Mu Qiqi shook her head and quickly said, I've been feeling bloated for the past few days. It's not very comfortable. Sheng Xiao thought about it carefully. These few days should be her menstrual cycle. She had always been punctual, but she had not come yet. Let's go to the hospital tomorrow. Sheng Xiao reached out and caressed Mu Qiqi's abdomen. Mu Qiqi felt the warmth of Sheng Xiao's palm and felt much more comfortable. No need. Isn't it my menstrual cycle soon? It'll be strange before I come. Moreover, tomorrow's classes are very important. I won't delay it. Sheng Xiao put her down from his lap and suddenly remembered that they did not use contraceptives that night when Xing Bowen brought Mu Qiqi to Mount Yueying. At the thought of this, Sheng Xiao's emotions became much more complicated. It was just that Mu Qiqi did not notice. When he returned to the room, Mu Qiqi had already taken a shower and was lying on the bed. Sheng Xiao saw her shaking her legs, so he stepped forward and covered them for her. What's wrong? It's almost June. I'm not cold. Mu Qiqi was a little puzzled by Sheng Xiao's actions. If it were any other day, she would have been pressed down on the bed to fix her posture. Today, Xiao Xiao did not seem to have any such thoughts at all. After taking a shower, remember to dry the water stains on your body. Master Xiao, you're very strange tonight. Mu Qiqi was puzzled. Sheng Xiao did not explain why, and went into the bathroom. When he came out, Mu Qiqi was already asleep on the bed. It was obvious that she had been in class recently, and was very tired. Sheng Xiao sat on the edge of the bed, lifted the blanket, and put Mu Qiqi in. Seeing that she showed no signs of waking up, he stared at her abdomen. He hoped that he was overthinking. The next day, Tang Yin was about to go out with his keys. When Feng Shanshan saw him open the car door, she called out to him. Dinner at Jinrong Manor at 6:30 p.m. Don't forget. Tang Yin closed the car door and returned to Feng Shanshan's side. He kissed her forehead. I'll pick you up at home at 5. Aren't you busy at the bureau? No matter how busy I am, I have to make time to accompany you. If he did not protect his own woman, was he really going to place his hopes on someone else every time? Feng Shanshan did not say anything and watched Tang Yin drive away. She had no power or influence, and no one in the Feng family was on her side. Therefore, when she went to the Feng family this time, other than causing trouble, it seemed that she would only bring embarrassment to Tang Yin. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Jinrong Manor, the Feng family had already arrived at the restaurant's private room. However, Feng Wen had been silent ever since she entered the restaurant. When Shanshan comes later, apologize to your sister, Papa Feng said to Feng Wen. His words were commanding, and there was no room for negotiation. Feng Wen did not say anything, but she vented all her anger on the tea set. And you, if Shanshan comes home, promise me that you'll take good care of her. I owe her too much. Papa Feng turned his head and said to his wife, Where's Xiaowei? Xiaowei is still on the way. She'll be here soon. Mama Feng answered with a smile, trying her best to look graceful and elegant. In a while I'll also persuade Shanshan. There's no need to pester the poor police officer. Papa Feng did not like Tang Yin at all. He only felt that his daughter could find a better home. What was the point of following this man who ran to murder scenes all day? At 6:30 p.m., Feng Shanshan and Tang Yin also arrived at the private room. Papa Feng did not want to have a strained relationship with his daughter from the start, so he ignored Tang Yin. Chapter 833. Shanshan, come and sit down. Papa Feng greeted her lovingly. However, Feng Shanshan sat down at the door. Tang Yin took the opportunity to sit beside her. You're welcome, Mr. Feng. Why aren't you calling me daddy? Papa Feng was rather unhappy. I know. 2 days ago, your sister went over and made you suffer. I've also taught her a lesson. Feng Wen, apologize to your sister. When Feng Wen was called, she stood up abruptly and glared at Feng Shanshan. She said to Feng Shanshan dryly, I'm sorry. There's no point in apologizing unwillingly. Besides, if my friend hadn't come over that day, I don't know if the child in my stomach, and I would still be here. Feng Shanshan looked at Feng Wen coldly. Let's be honest with each other. If you don't want to apologize, I don't want to accept your apology. That's great. Feng Wen sat down angrily. Shanshan, we're all family. If there's a misunderstanding, just solve it. There's no misunderstanding. Feng Shanshan interrupted Papa Feng. Mr. Feng, you probably misunderstood. The reason I appeared in the Feng family wasn't to ask you for money. I just naively thought that I still had family and kinship. However, the attitude of the Feng family also made me realize that I shouldn't have appeared in front of you and caused myself so much trouble. If it wasn't for the money, why did you take Dad's check? Feng Wen questioned. I found the charity the next day. Now I'm just waiting to sign the donation letter. It can be considered as doing good for the Feng family, Feng Shanshan said calmly. Besides, after so many years, he knows better than me whether the living expenses that Mr. Feng has sent over have been passive. Papa Feng did not say anything, but his expression was extremely ugly. I have no intention of disturbing you, so I don't want to continue being your family. Just pretend that you've never seen me and give us a way out. Feng Wen's expression was extremely sarcastic, because she did not believe a single word Feng Shanshan said. You're making it sound nice now. Now that you know that Dad is the CEO of the Hanwen Group, who knows if you'll use your identity as the second daughter of the Hanwen Group to seek benefits in the future. Especially since isn't your husband a police officer? If you have power and influence, you'll be promoted faster. After hearing Feng Wen's words, Feng Shanshan laughed out loud. In my heart, I've never taken the Hanwen Group seriously. You don't take it seriously. What about your husband? Feng Wen's words were mocking Tang Yan, which was what Feng Shanshan could not stand the most. Humiliating her husband was equivalent to slapping her in the face. Seeing that she didn't look good, Tang Yan wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Feng Shanshan. This was her family. No, this family was only related to her by blood, so she didn't want Tang Yan to waste his energy on this family. My husband has no interest in currying favor with you. Even if he does, you're not qualified, Feng Shanshan said sarcastically. Who does he think he is? Shanshan, it's not that I'm scolding you, but you're still young. You can still find better happiness. Papa Feng took the opportunity to join in. It's not that I dislike your husband, but his job is so dangerous. How can he take care of you and the child? Feng Shanshan finally understood. It seemed that the Fengs were not going to talk nicely. You don't have to worry about that, Feng Shanshan replied coldly. The purpose of my visit today is to tell you that in the future, we'll pretend that we don't know each other. This is the best outcome. Everyone will be satisfied. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was angry, Tang Yan held her hand and reminded her not to be angry. Then, his calm voice sounded at the dining table. Although I don't have any background, I'm not completely helpless. It's enough to give Shanshan the life she wants. With just you, a poor police officer? With just me, a poor police officer, Tang Yan said firmly. Your Hanwen has encountered a tax problem recently, right? The director of the tax bureau over there is my senior. Tang Yan's words were unhurried, but it shocked the Fengs. Especially Papa Feng. It was certain that the tax problem this time would be investigated. However, he did not expect that this poor police son-in-law would know about it. I won't make things difficult for you. And the Fengs shouldn't make things difficult for us either. Shanshan and I just want to live peacefully. We don't want the Fengs to disturb us again. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll say or do to my senior. After all, we have a good relationship. Tang Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, but they were always accurate and effective. Papa Feng immediately fell silent. You're threatening me. So, when you're being given face, you should take it back. Tang Yan retorted coldly. You're Hanwen, to put it bluntly. Don't you know what kind of status you have in Jianchuan? Don't think that everyone you see is interested in your money. You. Who do you think you are? Are you lecturing us here? Feng Wen pointed at Tang Yan's nose and scolded. It seems that the Fengs want to drink tea. If you have the ability, go ahead and sue them. I don't believe that a poor police officer, like you, can be brothers with the people from the tax bureau. Then we'll see. After saying that, Tang Yan looked at Feng Shanshan and asked her gently, Do you want to leave? Chi-Chi is waiting for us on the other side. Feng Shanshan replied. Let's go now. After saying that, the two of them stood up and walked to the room next door. At this moment, Feng Wen was so angry that she went crazy. Two pretentious people. What the hell? Dad, just you wait and see. What people from the tax bureau? It's all a lie. Previously, Feng Shanshan even said that she knew the mayor's niece. Papa Feng did not say anything, but his face was livid. Xiao Wen stopped talking. Accompany Mom to the bathroom. Mama Feng could see Feng Shanshan and Feng Wen from her position. She went to the room opposite. Therefore, she wanted to know who was on the other side. Feng Wen stood up unwillingly and accompanied Mama Feng out of the private room. When they reached the corridor, Mama Feng saw Su Che and the bodyguards at the door. She asked about the service in the private room. Young lady, who are the big shots inside? They even brought a few bodyguards. Oh, it's President Sheng and his wife from Zhongting, who is Mayor Shen's niece. Then who are the two people who went in just now? I'm not sure either, but the two families are very close. When Mama Feng heard this, her expression changed. Then, she turned to look at Feng Wen. Could it be that Feng Shanshan is really related to the Shen family? Feng Wen shook her head, indicating that she was not sure either. Who knows? If they are really related to the Sheng family and the Shen family, then your father will definitely scold you to death when he finds out. Chapter 834. What's the big deal? Mom, it's fine as long as you don't tell Dad. With that, the mother and daughter went to the bathroom. When they returned, Feng Wei was already there. When the mother and daughter sat down, Feng Wei said, Where's second sister? Didn't you say you're having dinner with her? What second sister? She said she doesn't like our family at all. Feng Wen snorted, feeling extremely unhappy. Isn't that normal? Second sister has such a good relationship with Zhongting. It's normal for her to not like us, Feng Wei answered casually. Besides, I heard from the grapevine that Mayor Shen's family has already accepted second sister as their goddaughter. Of course, they don't need to care about poor relatives like us now. After hearing Feng Wei's words, even Papa Feng revealed a surprised expression. Tell me clearly what's going on. Don't you read the gossip news? Second sister and Mu Qiqi, Sheng Zhao's women, are very close sisters. Perhaps they want to be closer. So second sister acknowledged Mu Qiqi's father as her godfather. Now she's like a family with the Shen family. Feng Wei explained as he ate. It's all your fault. You're so engrossed in your work. Why don't you pay attention to the interesting things in the same city? After Papa Feng and the other two heard this, they felt very complicated. Feng Wen and her mother were even more embarrassed and angry, because Feng Shanshan really didn't like the Feng family. It was not that she was pretending, but she really didn't like it. Then her husband. I don't know about that. It's said that he's very famous in the police world. Feng Wei was only an 18-year-old boy. He usually went to school, but he liked to interact with girls, so he heard a lot of gossip. People like Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi were popular in Jianchuan, okay? The people around them would naturally be mentioned. The three of them stopped talking. They didn't know what to say. The family was no longer in the mood to eat. They could only wait for Feng Wei to wolf down his food. Now there was only one thought in Papa Feng's mind. If what Tang Yin said about the tax bureau was true, then, before Feng Wei finished eating, he saw a group of people coming out of the opposite room. It was Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan. No matter how slow Papa Feng was, it was impossible for him not to recognize Sheng Xiao. In fact, the two women were walking in front while Sheng Xiao and Tang Yin were walking side by side behind them. The scene of the four of them was very beautiful. But this scene made Papa Feng feel very uncomfortable, because he knew that he had offended the so-called poor son-in-law. As for Feng Wen, although she felt very unwilling, she also knew how unreachable these people were. Therefore, she no longer doubted Feng Shanshan's words, nor would she look for trouble with Feng Shanshan. Among the four of them, only Mama Feng was terrified because she saw the change in her husband's expression. Then, when she mentioned paying the bill, she was told, "Madam, the customer opposite has already paid the bill for you. Furthermore, he left a message for you. If you bully others, you will have to pay the price." We don't know. Mama Feng was at a loss. Go home. Papa Feng took a deep breath. He knew that his relationship with Feng Shanshan could not be salvaged. However, he was worried about the tax issue. From the moment he found out about Tang Yin and Feng Shanshan's identities, he began to tremble in fear. At this moment, Feng Wen did not say anything. She could only remain silent, because she knew that if she spoke, Papa Feng would definitely settle the score with her about finding trouble with Feng Shanshan. On the other side, Mu Qiqi and the other three changed places to eat. This was because Mu Qiqi finally realized that people could not be vegetarians. If it were me, I wouldn't pay for that family's sake. Mu Qiqi felt that Feng Shanshan's money had been spent unjustly. I hope they know what's good for them. With the two of you revealing your identities, that family can only admit defeat, Feng Shanshan said with a smile. Feng Shanshan smiled. I thought you were going to think of some tricks to humiliate that family. To deal with those self-righteous people, you just need to let them know that they're really nothing. That's the best punishment. If the Feng family still has face, they won't disturb you again. Mu Qiqi snorted. I don't think they will. After Feng Shanshan said that, she subconsciously looked at Tang Yin. You've been wronged. Tang Yin had been silent, but he held Feng Shanshan's hand tightly and said, Your father is right. But I have nothing, and I have a big family's trouble. I don't care. I don't care either. Feng Shanshan quickly added, afraid that Tang Yin would misunderstand. Then about the tax bureau. Wait for a good show tomorrow. He was indeed just a lousy police officer. Moreover, he had no power or influence. However, over the years, he had built up a lot of connections and friends. It was naturally impossible for him to deal with a company like Enchanting, but it was not a problem for him to deal with Hanwen. Moreover, there was a problem with Hanwen itself. That's good too. Let that family look down on you. Speaking of Tang Yan's background, if his parents were still alive, he would be a director or something like that by now. Even so, although his parents had passed away, his influence was still there. It was not difficult for him to get something done. Then, the four of them went to another German restaurant. When Mu Qiqi saw the steak, her eyes lit up. This is what you call dinner? Feng Shanshan laughed silently, especially when she saw Mu Qiqi cutting the steak. It was so neat and thick that it really made one's imagination run wild. Seeing you cut it like this, I've lost my appetite. I can't help it. It's an occupational disease. Mu Qiqi expressed that she could eat very well. Sheng Xiao and Tang Yin looked at each other. The two men did not say anything. That night, the two men were just going through the motions, especially Sheng Xiao. Actually, there was no need for him to come personally. As long as Mu Qiqi announced his man's name, the Feng family would still be afraid. We've achieved our goal. Can we stop for a few days? Mu Qiqi tilted her head and looked at Sheng Xiao with a smile. When will I stop? Sheng Xiao really wanted to grab her and beat her up, but it was not appropriate for him to do so in public. It's rare that it's just the few of us. Let's drink some wine, Mu Qiqi suggested. But Tang Yin and Sheng Xiao rejected her in unison. No need. No need. Shanshan is pregnant. I still have to take care of the pregnant woman. Mu Qiqi could accept this reason. After all, it was Tang Yin. But what about Sheng Xiao? Mu Qiqi looked at him, not understanding. You should rest early tonight. Mu Qiqi clicked her tongue. The two of them had always slept at 11 o'clock at home. It was not even 8 o'clock yet. Chapter 835. On the way home after the small gathering, Feng Shanshan kept staring at Tang Yin. Perhaps Tang Yin knew what she was thinking, so he waited until he entered the door before saying to her, I don't mind. But I mind. Feng Shanshan hugged him and said, My husband is not a lousy police officer. In my heart you're a hero. No one has the right to look down on you, because you've made an indelible contribution to the stability and prosperity of this city. Isn't that enough? Tang Yin smiled. I don't mind what others think of me. I just want you not to be bullied by anyone. Feng Shanshan leaned into Tang Yan's arms and couldn't help but get angry with him. Tang Yan's voice immediately became hoarse. He held her hand and didn't let her move. I'll hurt you. Just be careful. Dr. Song told me that it won't be a problem after 3 months. If you can't help it, it's fine. When Tang Yin saw Feng Shanshan blushing, he knew that she was angry. She was pregnant, and it was not easy to vent. So he carried the woman to the bed and carefully tried to please her. After she was released, he immediately went to the bathroom and took a cold shower. Feng Shanshan couldn't bear to see him like this. Why was this man so stupid? You don't have to do this. No, for the sake of you and the child. He could endure it, although a certain part of him was unreasonably firm. It was also late at night. After Mu Qiqi took a shower, she climbed onto Sheng Xiao's legs as usual. However, Sheng Xiao held her hands down. Sleep early tonight. Mu Qiqi finally understood what was going on. This person had been avoiding her since last night, and was still unwilling to touch her today. What's wrong? It was easy for the little thing to notice the sudden estrangement. After all, she knew what Sheng Xiao's words and actions meant. Sheng Xiao put down the document and sat up straight. Then he looked at the little thing seriously. Think about it yourself. What time should it be these few days? Mu Qiqi thought about it. Logically speaking, these few days should be her menstrual period. She had always been punctual. However, it was already 2 days late, and she still hadn't come. Her entire body trembled. You mean I? Mu Qiqi looked down at her lower abdomen. White and smooth, without a trace of fat. Could it be that there was a little life inside? After all, that night on Mount Yueying, Master Xiao did not use any contraceptives, and did not let her take any medicine. Although Fifth Aunt had been nursing her, there were always exceptions, right? At that thought, Mu Qiqi's mood suddenly became very complicated. Looking into Sheng Xiao's eyes, she said seriously, why don't we go by a pregnancy test? Sheng Xiao pursed his lips tightly. He never thought that he would make such a mistake again. Seeing that he was unmoved, Mu Qiqi immediately slid down from his lap and went back to the bedroom to change her clothes. Sheng Xiao got up and followed Mu Qiqi, without saying a word. When he saw that Mu Qiqi was about to leave with her wallet, he grabbed her wrist. I'll go. Let's go together. Mu Qiqi looked into Sheng Xiao's eyes seriously. Sheng Xiao could not refuse, so he held Mu Qiqi's hand and went downstairs together. Mama Sheng asked casually when she saw them going out so late at night. Mom, you guys go to sleep first. There's something on Shanshan's side. I'll go over and take a look. Mama Sheng did not suspect anything. After watching TV with Papa Sheng, they went back to their room to rest. In fact, it was already 10 o'clock at night. At this time, there were very few pharmacies that were open. Sheng Xiao drove Mu Qiqi to several places. Finally, they stopped in front of a 24-hour pharmacy. Mu Qiqi tilted her head to look at Sheng Xiao and said, I'll go. It's not convenient for a man like you. Sheng Xiao held Mu Qiqi's hand and got out of the car. At this time, who cared if he was a man or not? Sheng Xiao entered the pharmacy and bought all the pregnancy test papers. There were all kinds of them. Mu Qiqi was a little embarrassed when she saw the big bag full of them. Actually, just a few of them are enough. Buy them and prepare them. Mu Qiqi did not say anything else. In fact, her mind was in a mess, especially when she saw Sheng Xiao's unhappy expression. Could it be that her pregnancy was a burden to him? The two of them carried the things home. Then, Sheng Xiao took out several types of test papers and handed them to Mu Qiqi. Go. Mu Qiqi's emotions were very complicated. Who would test 5 or 6 at once? If I really have it. Go first. Sheng Xiao sent her into the bathroom and closed the door. Mu Qiqi held the test papers. Her head was empty and very swollen. She had been envious of Feng Shanshan before, but when it was really her turn, she was nervous and began to be suspicious. Then, she opened the 5 boxes of pregnancy tests and checked them according to the instructions. After a while, she lined up the 5 pregnancy tests in a row and squatted on the toilet to observe them carefully. A minute later, there was a subtle change in her expression. Are you done? All the pregnancy tests had 2 red lines on them. She was pregnant. She was pregnant with Sheng Xiao's child. However, she felt that Sheng Xiao did not seem happy. So when Sheng Xiao asked, she did not know how to answer. Especially since she was afraid that Sheng Xiao would ask her not to have their child. So Mu Qiqi did not say anything for a long time, until Sheng Xiao opened the bathroom door. His gaze swept across the items on the sink, and he understood what was going on. However, his expressionless face fell into Mu Qiqi's eyes. Come out. The toilet is cold. Sheng Xiao reached out to hug her. Mu Qiqi felt a little sad. She wrapped her arms around Sheng Xiao's neck and said, You're not happy. Sheng Xiao, let me tell you. If you ask me to abort our child, between us, I'll ignore you for the rest of my life. Mu Qiqi could not say anything too decisive, because she was afraid that Sheng Xiao would take it seriously. You're in school now. You're not even 22 years old. So what? The child is already in my stomach. You're not allowed to say no. Mu Qiqi was anxious and struggled in Sheng Xiao's arms. Let's go for a good checkup tomorrow to make sure, Sheng Xiao said calmly as he put her on the bed. Mu Qiqi saw that he did not seem happy at all, so she became depressed. I know you don't want children now, but I'm already pregnant. This is our child. What about school? I can take a year off, Mu Qiqi answered without thinking. You have to bring a child with you wherever you go in the future. Chapter 836. You can go this crazy for me? Sheng Xiao stood in front of Mu Qiqi, slightly resigned to his fate. Do you know how much harm it will do to my body if I abort the child? Of course, Sheng Xiao knew that he was just angry at himself. I just don't want you to take care of a child at such a young age. You still have a lot of youth to enjoy. Mu Qiqi did not answer him. She just grabbed his warm hand and placed it on her lower abdomen. She said to him, Feel it. This is our child. Not to mention that I'm not even 22 years old now. Even if I'm only 20 years old, I'll still want it. This is our child. I can't bear to abort it. Sheng Xiao slowly pulled her into his arms. What should I do with you? Just listen to me. I want to give birth to the child. This is our child. At this moment, Mu Qiqi's tone was very firm and full of hope. If it were any other woman at this age, the first thing she would consider would be her studies, her future, and even that she would not be able to live freely in the future. She would feel that her life was completely bound by the child. However, Mu Qiqi was not afraid of these problems at all. She insisted that this was their child. Of course, Sheng Xiao could not bear to hurt her body, but he did not want her to be tied up by the child and make such a huge sacrifice for him. So, Sheng Xiao could not sleep that night. In his 30-year-old life, this was the only thing that could make him stay up all night. There was only guilt and heartache left in his heart. The next day, Mu Qiqi woke up in Sheng Xiao's arms. Seeing his tired eyes, she could not help but reach out and touch the corner of his eyebrows. Haven't you thought it through? You can continue thinking, but I won't abort the child. I know I'm still young, but I've thought about it many times in my mind. After the child is born, whether it will be a boy or a girl, whether it will look like you or me, I think it's a very magical thing, because it means that we will never be able to part with each other. Xiao Xiao, let's keep this child, okay? Sheng Xiao did not say anything. He just leaned close to the little one's eyebrows and kissed her gently. I've already asked Su Che to make an appointment. We'll go for a checkup together later to confirm it. Promise me that you won't not want the child. Of course I want it. I want you and the child. Because abortion was extremely harmful to the mother's body. Even though Sheng Xiao had doubts and his heart ached, one night of thinking was enough for him to think clearly about the direction of the future. Mu Qiqi was finally relieved when she received this answer. She quickly reached out and hugged Sheng Xiao. Master Xiao, you're going to be a father. Xiao did not feel that. This was because the child was too young. Sheng Xiao did not believe it. Sheng of Xiao Xiao did not believe because of this. Xiao, carry me up. Mu Qiqi leaned into his arms and whined. Xiao of Xiao, Mu Qiqi, of Xiao of the Xiao of Qiqi. You. Mu of. Mu Qiqi smiled when she felt that she was surrounded by a tall figure. She felt very warm. We'll wash up like this from now on. It's very safe. Sheng Xiao rinsed his mouth with his right hand, while his left hand wrapped around Mu Qiqi's neck. When they were done washing up, Sheng Xiao turned Mu Qiqi around and instructed her carefully. Since you're pregnant, you can't be like before. You have to walk carefully, and be careful when you use knives. I'll help you apply for a leave of absence from school. You can't smell those strange smells and poisonous gases anymore. At that, Mu Qiqi wrapped her arms around his neck and nodded firmly. Yes, sir. They had not gone to the hospital for a checkup, so Sheng Xiao did not tell his family about it. While the two of them were washing up, a small episode happened. At about 8:30 a.m., the Hanwen group welcomed the police. Papa Feng could not help but tremble. When Feng Wen saw this, she did not dare to make a sound. How could she have known that the lousy police officer, that her whole family despised, would actually be related to someone from the tax bureau? I'm sorry, Chairman Feng. I'll have to trouble you to make a trip, the leading police officer said to Papa Feng. When Papa Feng heard this, he felt his vision turn black, and he collapsed to the ground. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Sheng Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to the obstetrics and gynecology hospital. When the doctor saw that she was so young, she smiled. You've decided to be a mother at such a young age? Do you like children? I don't like other people's children. I like my own. Mu Qiqi answered in a relaxed tone. Go in. The doctor will give you a good checkup. The kind-looking doctor arranged all the checkup items for Mu Qiqi. Sheng Xiao was waiting outside the door. When Su Che saw this, he could roughly guess what was going on. Is young madam pregnant? In the future, I'll leave her safety to you. Sheng Xiao looked at Su Che solemnly. I don't trust anyone else. Okay. Su Che only had one word for it. It was difficult for Sheng Xiao to say the word trust. Therefore, Su Che swore in his heart that he would never let down the president's trust in his life. A moment later, it was time for the ultrasound. Sheng Xiao followed her into the ultrasound room. Mu Qiqi was lying on the bed. Sheng Xiao saw the cold instrument moving around Mu Qiqi's abdomen. In the middle of her womb, there was a small dot. It was their crystallization. Congratulations. The baby is 40 days old. It's this small dot. It will quickly grow in your stomach. Mu Qiqi's eyes turned red because this time, she confirmed that she was pregnant with Xiao Zhao's baby. You're still new parents, so go back and read more parenting books. The things to take note of are also in the books. Congratulations. After the checkup, Mu Qiqi pulled down her clothes and patted her abdomen. It was in this place that her and Xiao Zhao's baby were contained. When Sheng Xiao saw her like this, a corner of his heart seemed to be tugged fiercely. Then he picked her up. Xiao Xiao, I'm really pregnant. Really? Silly thing. This is the first photo of the baby. Mu Qiqi held it in her hand and couldn't close the corners of her mouth. I really want to tell the world. You can't tell anyone except your family, Sheng Xiao reminded her. In the future, you have to go to dangerous places less. And don't get close to dangerous people. I'm a father now. My mouth is also full of nonsense. Mu Qiqi was in Sheng Xiao's arms excitedly. Xiao Xiao, are you happy that I'm pregnant? Is that so? Yes. Sheng Xiao answered coolly. At this time, men hid their feelings deep in their hearts. It was impossible for them to say it out loud. Are you really happy? Sheng Xiao did not answer this time. He just hugged Mu Qiqi even tighter. Mu Qiqi smiled, satisfied. This damn man only knew how to act cool. I'll go to your school in the afternoon. You can rest at home. Okay. Mu Qiqi answered secretly, because she was still a little reluctant. But it was okay. After giving birth to the baby, she could still go back and continue doing what she liked. Chapter 837. Mu Qiqi wanted to take a leave of absence, and Sheng Xiao personally went to the school to handle the procedures for her. This surprised the dean. CEO Sheng, Qiqi has been studying well. Why is it so sudden? She's sick and needs to rest. Sheng Xiao did not mention the pregnancy. After all, he was already worried about this precious treasure of his before she was pregnant. Now that she was pregnant, her safety was even more of a headache. If it's very serious, then she does need to rest. I really didn't expect such an outstanding child like Chi-Chi. The dean could not help but sigh. No, it should be said that it was a pity. When she recovers, she will come back. Feng Shanshan had left, and now Mu Chi-Chi had left. Although the dean felt that it was a pity, there was nothing he could do. Also, I hope that you can handle this matter in a low-key manner. Okay, I understand. The dean nodded in understanding. Mu Chi-Chi was a famous person to begin with. If she suddenly did not come to class, it would definitely cause criticism from others. Don't worry, CEO Sheng. Sheng Xiao personally settled the matter before returning to Zhongting. He asked his secretary to spare 2 days. After giving instructions, he brought Su Che back to the Banyan courtyard. Papa Sheng was working in Zhongting. Mama Sheng and fifth aunt were preparing lunch at home. When they saw Sheng Xiao, they were a little surprised. Eighth brother, you rarely come back at noon. Sheng Xiao did not answer his mother's question. Instead, he turned to fifth aunt and said, don't prepare any ingredients that are not good for pregnant women. CEO Sheng, are you going to give Miss Feng a tonic? Fifth aunt misunderstood. It's Chi-er, Sheng Xiao answered, standing at the entrance of the kitchen. Then, he saw the 2 women in the house petrified. Mama Sheng immediately reacted. Eighth brother, do you mean that Chi-Chi is pregnant? I went for a checkup this morning. It's been more than a month, Sheng Xiao answered calmly. When Mama Sheng saw this, she pushed him to the side and said, are you serious? Usually, looking at you, I thought you would have to wait a few more years. Why is it so sudden? Although it's an accident, don't you want a grandson? Sheng Xiao frowned slightly when he saw Mama Sheng's strange attitude. What are you saying? You bastard. I just feel that it's unfair for Chi-Chi to be a mother at such a young age. Mama Sheng couldn't help but hit her son. Since you have it, of course it's the family's treasure. Mom Chia really cares about this child. Help her. She doesn't care about the child. She cares about you. Do you think women like to have children? Isn't it all for the man she loves? She wants the 2 of them to have the crystallization of their love. Mama Sheng rolled her eyes at him. You should also treat Chi-Chi well. She's your flesh and blood. Love her well. I know. No one else knows about this, right? Mama Sheng asked him. Since he just came back from the hospital, it meant that he had not told anyone. No. Then let's not talk about it for now. We'll talk about it after 3 months. I was wondering why you came back in the middle of the day. Go and accompany her. I thought Chi-Chi was on leave today. Speaking of which, what about the school? Remembering that Mu Chi-Chi was still a university student, Mama Sheng slapped her son again. Mu Chi-Chi couldn't even go to school because of you. I've already arranged for her to take a break from school. When the child is born, Chi-er can go back to school. This was Mama Sheng's worry at the beginning. She thought that Mu Chi-Chi was young, and the 2 of them couldn't be synchronized in this aspect. She was also prepared to be a grandmother a few years later. Who knew that Mu Chi-Chi would give her such an exciting one? Mom, thank you for the trouble. You're my son. What else can I do? After saying that, Mama Sheng turned around and returned to fifth aunt. It seems that we have to make this meal again. Fifth aunt chuckled. In fact, she knew that Mama Sheng was very happy. Madam, it's a happy occasion for the family to have a child. Who said it isn't? It's just that Chi-Chi has wronged that child. If I were her, I would never give birth to 8th brother's child in my life. Although she said that, Mama Sheng still went out immediately to buy some fresh vegetables at the mall. Pregnant women needed to be taken good care of. Mu Chi-Chi lay on the bed at home and felt like she was dreaming. When she saw Feng Shanshan pregnant before, she was envious to the bone. Now, she actually had one herself. Moreover, the baby came without any warning. Thinking of this, Mu Chi-Chi lowered her head and looked at her abdomen. Baby, to tell you the truth, Mommy wanted to give birth to your father's child when I was 17. Do you know how much Mommy likes him? Although you came very suddenly, how do you understand Mommy's inner needs so well? You came just like that. Your father can't do anything to us at all. Mu Chi-Chi was talking to herself in the room, while Sheng Xiao stood at the door and eavesdropped. I'm not that helpless against you. Hearing this familiar voice, Muchichi blushed and looked at the door. Why are you back? Sheng Xiao walked in front of Muchichi and hugged her to sit on his lap. His expression became serious. Since you want this child, you can't be as willful as before. You can't hit people anymore. I didn't know at that time. Muchichi knew that Sheng Xiao was hinting at her to slap Fengwen. The school has already completed the procedures for you. If I suddenly don't go to school, the school will definitely have a lot of speculations. Muchichi felt that she didn't want so many people to know that someone was now eyeing the Sheng and Shen families covetously. She didn't want to be so high profile and become a target for others to threaten Sheng Xiao. The school will help cover it up. There's no need to worry. Sheng Xiao hugged her and looked at her. A 17-year-old girl suddenly grew up and was about to become a mother. He seemed to be unable to adapt to this change. You want to give birth to my child at 17? You're very bold. I know what you're thinking. You think that I'm still young and can still enjoy my youth. There's no need to be tied down by a child. But Xiao Xiao, let me tell you in my heart, if I can have a child like you and be with you every day, I will feel that it's a different life. Life is full of changes. Who said that a girl's youth should be free? With a child I can also enjoy my youth. So, don't always feel guilty about me. You're not a fish. How can you know the joy of a fish? Sheng Xiao stared at this thing carefully and felt relieved. At the same time he felt proud. How infatuated was this thing with him, that she was so brave that she wasn't even afraid of giving birth to a child. Just thinking about it made his body react. Chapter 838. Sheng Xiao pressed the little thing down with a calm expression. If you mess around again, I'll deal with you somewhere else. Muchichi did not dare to act rashly. However, when she thought about not being able to have sex for 10 months, could this man hold back? Xiao Xiao, it's only the first day, and you're already so angry. How can you stand it for 10 months? What do you want to say? Just say it. Sheng Xiao looked at it with a faint smile. Did it think he couldn't tell that there was a hidden meaning in its words? What if you want it? I've heard that men are most likely to cheat when a woman is pregnant. Sheng Xiao's gaze slowly moved from Muchichi's little face to her chest. You should be a lot bigger after you get pregnant, when the time comes. Old hooligan. Muchichi quickly covered her heart and said, Are you still afraid? This time, Muchichi was serious. She reached out and hugged him. I believe in my man. He's a picky eater. Not everyone can catch his eye. Let's go to the Shen family in the afternoon. It was one thing to hide it from the others, but it was impossible to hide it from the two elders. Muchichi had no objection. She believed that her father and grandfather would be happy for her. Xiao Xiao, I really have your baby. A baby that belongs to both of us. Yeah. Sheng Xiao's tone was indifferent. I'm really happy. Idiot. The child had just been placed in Muchichi's belly, so Sheng Xiao did not have such a strong feeling. He only knew that this little thing must not be touched in the future. It was his rare treasure. During lunch, Mama Sheng kept telling Muchichi about the precautions of pregnancy. After all, she knew how bold this child was. But now was a special period. Muchichi had to be extra careful. Muchichi remembered everything in her heart. Who asked her to care about this child more than Xiao Xiao? After lunch, Sheng Xiao held Muchichi's hand and walked to the Shen family's house to digest the food. Huang Yu and Shen Jianchuan were not at home. Grandpa Shen was fishing at the fish pond as usual. When he saw the two of them, he felt a little strange. Eighth brother, is the company so free? You actually came to see me at this time. Don't blame him. He did it to accompany me, Muchichi said cheerfully. Why don't you go to school? The old man twisted his body and looked at the young couple. His expression suddenly became anxious. What happened? It's okay. You don't have to be so nervous. Muchichi quickly waved her hand. It's just that you're going to be a great-grandfather. After hearing that, Grandpa Shen understood what Muchichi meant. Then, he put down the fishing rod and looked at Muchichi's belly. You're pregnant? Yeah. Muchichi nodded. Old eight, speak. Grandpa Shen seemed to think that Muchichi's words were not trustworthy. This child liked to joke, so he asked Sheng Xiao instead. Sheng Xiao did not say anything, but nodded to show that it was true. That's a good thing. This is my first great-grandson. Grandpa Shen was delighted, but after a while, he frowned and pointed at Sheng Xiao. Eighth brother, come with me to the study. Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment. Why did this person suddenly turn hostile? Mu Qiqi watched as the two entered the study. She did not know what Grandpa Sheng wanted to say to Xiao Xiao. A man's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. In the study, Grandpa Shen paced back and forth with his hands behind his back. No matter how he thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. Eighth brother, you're too selfish. How old is Xiaoqi? Just let her. Let her. Grandpa, it's my fault. I couldn't protect her well. Sheng Xiao did not explain. But there's one thing I can promise you. Whether she gives birth or not, I won't use anything to restrain her. Grandpa Shen believed that too. Compared to Xiaoqi, he had watched Sheng Xiao grow up. This child used to be frivolous and did things based on his mood. But after being with Mu Qiqi all these years, he had become mature and steady. Moreover, he knew how much Sheng Xiao doted on his baby. Of course, I'm happy that she's pregnant. I just need to emphasize one thing, and that's safety. You know that there are people eyeing our two families now. I don't want Xiaoqi to take this disaster at this juncture. I don't plan to announce it to the public until Qi gives birth to the baby. During this period, let Qi claim that she's sick, Sheng Xiao replied. Yes, this is the safest way at the moment. Not letting others know would reduce the attention of others. You young people should arrange these things yourselves. But don't forget what you promised me. You can't let Qi suffer any grievances. I know. The two of them did not stay in the study for long, but it was enough for Mu Qiqi to stretch her head. After a while the two of them came out of the study. Mu Qiqi quickly went up to him. Grandpa, do you blame Xiao Xiao? Don't blame him. It's me who wants to keep this baby. He thinks I'm still young. You, Grandpa Shen nudged her head. You're going to be a mother soon. You can't be like before and do whatever you want. Eighth brother spoils you, but you have to know your limits. I know. Mu Qiqi replied as she touched her head. I know. Tell your father later. Then, take good care of yourself and give birth to a healthy baby. Do you understand? Grandpa, don't worry. When that time comes, the whole family would treasure this child. Mu Qiqi could already imagine that she might not be able to hold her own child in the future. Grandpa Shen snorted and returned to his world. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao and said, I want to wait here for Dad to come back and tell him the news personally. If you have something to do in Zhongting, go and do it. You won't worry about me staying with the Shen family, right? I came out for 2 days just to accompany you. I'm only worth 2 days for you to come out for. Little one, don't be too proud. I'll find a book to record everything you've done. When you give birth, I'll settle everything with you one by one. Sheng Xiao hugged her, but there was a sporadic smile at the corner of his mouth. I don't believe you can bear to. The two of them waited in Shen Jianchuan's antique room. Half an hour later, they saw Shen Jianchuan coming back. Dad. Shen Jianchuan glanced at the two of them. He was also puzzled. After a moment, his gaze moved down to Mu Qiqi's lower abdomen. This person was more meticulous than the old man. He knew that if it were not for this situation, the two of them would not have waited for him here at this time. You're going to be a mother? Why are you so wise? Mu Qiqi immediately praised. We don't even need to say anything. Chapter 839. It's been more than a month, Mu Qiqi answered proudly. Shen Jianchuan glanced at the two of them. Finally, his gaze landed on Sheng Xiao. Come with me. No, don't you all have to capture Xiao Xiao for a talk? Mu Qiqi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, Shen Jianchuan didn't want to scold Sheng Xiao. Instead, he handed the information he had brought back to Sheng Xiao. It's good that you're here. It saves me the trouble of making another trip. Although these grudges have nothing to do with the Sheng family, you're now the son-in-law of the Shen family, Qiqi's husband, and soon the father of the child. There are some things you have to know. Sheng Xiao took the information from Shen Jianchuan and slowly opened it. More than 20 years ago, when the old man was still a brigade commander in the army, he once carried out a special military order to escort a very important researcher to a military base 300 miles away from Jianshuan. However, during the process, something went wrong, and he fell into the enemy's ambush. At that time, the Song family was a well-known local entrepreneur, but they colluded with criminals and hid the researcher in their home. The old man was ordered to rescue the hostage, but the Song family framed him many times and almost took his life. In the end, the old man completed his mission. However, the Song family suffered heavy casualties. At the end of the day, they were just ordinary people. But the Song family did extraordinary things. So in the end, their fate was not unjust. More than 20 years have passed, and so many things have happened in Jianshuan recently. Although the Shen family has made many enemies because of second brother, it's not impossible to say that it's because of the grudges from more than 20 years ago. I've gone to find out. There were a total of 5 people in the Song family at that time. 4 of them were lying in the cemetery, and the other one is missing. I'm telling you all this now, because I hope that you can be more vigilant. After all, Xiaoqi is pregnant now. If the other party uses her as a target, it's equivalent to strangling our throats. Sheng Xiao closed the information and already knew what to do. I know what to do. Xiaoqi is pregnant. Take good care of her. Don't be like her mother. With that, Shen Jianshuan patted Sheng Xiao's shoulder. Actually, I shouldn't be worried. Everyone can see how much you love Xiaoqi. Outside the room, Mu Qiqi was already waiting impatiently. She was the one who was pregnant, not Xiao Xiao. Why were they all asking Xiao Xiao? Just as she was about to knock on the door, the two of them finally walked out of the room. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes at Sheng Xiao. Scolded again? Looks like I need to go to that loudspeaker and shout. I want this child. It has nothing to do with you. How is it not related? Isn't he the father of the child? Shen Jianshuan glared at her. You're already going to be a mother, yet you're still so willful. I'm being wronged. How am I willful? Mu Qiqi pointed at her nose and asked. All of them knew that she was pregnant and dragged her husband away. How could they talk to her? All right, let's go home. Sheng Xiao took the folder and held Mu Qiqi's hand. As they walked home, Mu Qiqi could not help but think. Xiao Xiao, do you all think that I shouldn't have this child? No one said that. You're overthinking it, Sheng Xiao replied calmly. Then if you were 2 years older, everyone would have let nature take its course. However, since you're already pregnant, everyone is very happy. After hearing this, Mu Qiqi was finally satisfied. She was pregnant, and her emotions had become sensitive. She was not so suspicious in the past. Just now Dad told me a few things. I want to find out if it's related to Baisini's case. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll announce that you're seriously ill and have to stay at home to recuperate. This also means that you won't be able to go out in the future until the child is born. Mu Qiqi stopped in her tracks when she heard this. If Sheng Xiao felt that it was serious, then she could not be willful. Then, can we go to Feng Shanshan's house? Try not to, if you want Dad and I to be at ease. Mu Qiqi opened her mouth and realized that something big might have happened. She nodded. I know the severity. I've already said that I'm not a burden to you. Since you don't let me go out, I won't go out. I'll stay at home and take care of the baby. If there's a chance, I'll take you out for a walk. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded. She could not do anything at this time. Of course, if the time is right, I still hope that you can tell me about this. I can also know what we're guarding against. Sheng Xiao did not say anything. He just patted Mu Qiqi's head dotingly. When he figured it out, he would consider telling this little one. For an entire month, Sheng Bowen had been declared innocent, but Sheng Kai was still curled up in this small Chongrong electronics. After he fell out with Gu Xiling, he did not go back, and Gu Xiling did not appear either. A month ago, he had received a certain message from a certain person, but at that time, he had ignored it. However, he could not deny that during this month, his heart had often been in turmoil, because he did not know what choice he should make. During this month, Jin Bo did not contact him, but Sheng Kai knew that Cheng Bin was working for Jin Bo. Jin Bo had even sent other helpers. The target was Tang Yen. The afternoon weather was already very hot. Sheng Kai thought that at least for the time being, he should not see Gu Xiling. However, he did not expect that she would directly rush to the company and be aggressive. Sheng Kai, look at what you've done. Gu Xiling threw the phone with the chat history open in front of Sheng Kai. Why are you here again? Sheng Kai did not even bother to look at her. I've always turned a blind eye to you messing around outside. Now that you've gotten your mistress pregnant, she's already here. What do you want me to do? Without another word, Sheng Kai looked for the security guard. Drag Gu Xiling out of my office. Sheng Kai, do you still want our marriage? Whoever wants it can take it, Sheng Kai answered directly. You scum. Without me you're nothing. How dare you have a child with another woman behind my back? How dare you give birth to one? Sheng Kai, let me tell you, I'll definitely make you wish you were dead. Sheng Kai did not react to Gu Xiling's warning, because he had already given up. This woman's humiliation was endless. From the beginning, the two of them should not have taken marriage seriously. Besides, wasn't it difficult for him to get a woman pregnant? If it was true that someone was pregnant with his child, he would definitely divorce Gu Xiling and remarry her. Chapter 840. That night, Sheng Kai came out of the company. As soon as he entered the underground parking lot, he was pressed to the ground by a few men with a sack over his head and beaten up. The other party was obviously ruthless. It was not until Sheng Kai could not move that the few of them were afraid that he would die, and hurriedly ran away. Sheng Kai lay on the ground. At that moment, he felt that his body was in so much pain that it was about to split open. He did not need to think too much to know who had sent them. Other than Gu Xiling, who had gone crazy during the day, there was no one else. Thinking of this, Sheng Kai clenched his fists. Now that he had been betrayed by his family, he had been pushed into a pit of fire by Gu Xiling's grandfather. His life was worse than death. He did not dare to run away from Jinbo, because he did not want to end up like Sheng Kai. However, what could he do while curled up in such a small space? What could he do? In his mind, he suddenly thought of the text message from a month ago. Sheng Kai lay on the ground and took out his phone from his leather bag. He flipped to the text message with bloodstains on it. I promise you. But I want to borrow Jinbo's hand to make the Gu family suffer a fate worse than death. So, wait for me first. The humiliation that Gu Xiling had brought him was enough. Late at night, Mu Qiqi came out of the bathroom and saw Sheng Xiao texting someone, so she leaned her little head over. Sheng Xiao immediately turned off his phone and looked at her. Didn't we agree that you're not allowed to fool around until you find out what's going on? Then how do I know you're not texting with some beautiful woman? Sheng Xiao hugged her and put his phone aside. This one is about to go to heaven. How many more? Am I that free in your heart? I'm just teasing you. I'm a little sleepy. She did not know if it was a psychological effect, but Mu Qiqi felt that pregnant women should be sleepy. Sheng Xiao touched her hair and made sure that it was not wet. Then he picked her up and placed her on the bed. Sleep. Sing me a song? This thing's ability to torture people was increasing day by day. You can ask me to tell you a story, but you can't ask me to sing for you. Men all had a bottom line. Mu Qiqi smiled and admitted defeat. Then tell me a story. Once upon a time, there was a high-spirited brigade commander. One day, he suddenly received a special military order to escort an important researcher to a research base 300 miles away from the army. Mu Qiqi frowned as she listened. When other people told stories, it was either a sleeper or a Cinderella. In his mouth, it became a brigade commander carrying out a special mission. But how could she know that it was all the truth about her grandfather? Forget it, Master Xiao. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to sleep. Sheng Xiao's thin lips curled into a smile. Then, he helped Mu Qiqi put down the pillow and turned off the wall lamp. Only then did he leave the bedroom and go to the study. Mu Qiqi's head was spinning. Unexpectedly, the psychological effect was quite effective. She quickly fell asleep and slept very soundly. In the study, Sheng Xiao made a call for help. Soon, the people from the hospital found the place where Sheng Kai had fainted and sent him to the hospital. That's right. It was Sheng Xiao who sent the message a month ago. The only ones who can give you dignity and protect your life or your family and me. If you come back, I'll let bygones be bygones and give you a path with dignity. There are no conditions. Sheng Kai had thought about this message for a month. Although he did not want to admit it, deep in his heart, he believed Sheng Zhao's words, because no one kept their promises as much as Sheng Xiao did. However, he felt ashamed. Moreover, he had long since thought that he and the Sheng family were from the same world. However, Gu Ziling's provocation made him suddenly realize that if this continued, he would die outside sooner or later. No one could stop him. At midnight, Jinbo's car arrived at the hospital. He had received news that Sheng Kai had been hospitalized. For the past month, he had hardly asked about Sheng Kai. He had left him to fend for himself. He had thought that he would think of a way to escape, but he did not have any intention of leaving. On the hospital bed, Sheng Kai was seriously injured. Jinbo sat beside him, waiting for him to wake up. "Are you feeling better?" "Godfather," Sheng Kai called out softly. "Why are you here?" "I didn't come to see you. How badly have you been beaten up?" Jinbo said with some heartache. "Who did this?" Sheng Kai sat up with Jinbo's help. Then, he opened Sheng Zhao's message and showed it to Jinbo. "Godfather, Sheng Xiao came to win me over. I've thought about it for a month, but I still only want to stay by your side. The Sheng family has humiliated me enough. I just want Godfather to value me and trust me." Jinbo read the message, and his heart skipped a beat. "I didn't expect the Sheng family to still care about old ties. They don't care about old ties. They just want to humiliate me, just like Gu Ziling. Godfather, take me with you. I just want to follow you. I just want those people who look down on me to see that they're blind to humiliate me." Jinbo thought about it carefully and patted Sheng Kai's shoulder. "Rest well first. When you recover, come to Godfather's side. I'll teach you personally. Godfather, I still have a presumptuous request. The Gu family has treated me like this. I understand what you mean. When you get better, I'll support you in how you want to deal with the Gu family." "Thank you, Godfather." Sheng Kai used Sheng Zhao's message to exchange for Jinbo's trust. However, he knew that this was only the most basic. There were more tests ahead. However, this did not matter. At least, it was better than being locked up in a small place like Changrong. For 2 consecutive days, Mu Qiqi did not appear in school. This finally attracted the attention of the students in the faculty. However, Mu Qiqi did not have any friends in school. If they wanted to know about her current situation, they could only ask the dean. "She's fine, but she suddenly stopped coming to school. How strange. Could it be that she's been borrowed again? I don't think so. She really treats the school as her home. She can come and go as she pleases." There was a lot of discussion in the school. The dean saw that he could no longer suppress the news. So when he was teaching the students, he explained, "Mu Qiqi has taken a leave of absence from school. Don't make baseless guesses. She's sick. Besides, this is someone else's private matter. Don't worry about it. Just do your part." Just like that, the news of Mu Qiqi's serious illness spread like wildfire. How serious was her illness to the point of taking a leave of absence from school? You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.